Well, well, well. The Dallas Cowboys. It is always so much non-football talk going on about the Dallas Cowboys. And it's strange to me. There's always people that are talking about the drama that goes on in Dallas. But the funny thing to me is that they always seem to add to the drama in Dallas. And one of the things that has me really perturbed right now, and I want to come back and revisit this again today because I'm going to need y'all to help me out in the chat. Because I don't understand why people seem to be running with something that Matt Eberflus said that isn't really what Matt Eberflus said in the grand scheme of things. That Matt Eberflus was led with a question, and now people are saying it's what Matt Eberflus said. Y'all gotta help me. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Yep. I'm still a Cowboys fan in case y'all didn't know it. I don't care what any of these folks are saying about the Dallas Cowboys. I am still a Dallas Cowboys fan. And I can appreciate pretty much everything they've done this year. Of course, with the exception of Matt Eberflus, we're going to talk about it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G. I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? Still got a lot of great content coming up this season and leading in the next season. Now let's talk facts. Man, I am telling y'all, boy, Cowboys after dark, 2 nights in a row. Last night, time got away from me. We went to almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Man, went to 4 o'clock in the morning. But I'm back at it. And so today, I want to revisit the thing with Matt Eberflus. But also, we got some new subjects that we're going to talk about today, too. So, today, I want to talk about Matt Eberflus. Truth or lie? Y'all got to tell me, because this don't sound the same to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but y'all got to help me out. So, also, we're going to talk about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, 105.3 The Fan, gives an interview talking about the state of the union, talking about the Cowboys going forward, and talking about the Cowboys just in general. We're going to listen to Jerry Jones. Then I want to go back and listen to player interviews. I want to listen to Kenny Clark in particular, who I'm looking for. I want to listen to Kenny Clark and Dak Prescott. So we're going to listen to some player interviews today. Then Brian Schottenheimer talked on 105.3 The Fan. So I want to see what he talked about on 105.3 The Fan. And so not only that, we'll look and see if there's anything else out there talking about the Cowboys. And we're going to try to cover that too on this particular live stream today. But today, Flus, truth or lie, Jerry Jones, player interviews, and Brian Schottenheimer. I say, if you heard one, you heard them all. But nevertheless, let's check it out. So let's get it. Let's go. Like they used to say back in the old days, wave your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. I'm still a Cowboys fan. All right, let's get that quick roll call in. Let's keep this energy going. See who's in here real quick. The Queen. What is going on, my sister from the beginning? Chris Dunaway in this thing. What up, Chris Dunaway? Justin Durham. John Henry, what up, John Henry? Yay, Ma, what up? Brandy, as always, the sister of love. She said, G works hard. I appreciate you. Brandy, I work hard, but you support me, so I got to keep going. What else can I do? Dak Owens, what's going on? He said, hit that like button. Big Moss Dog up in this thing. Roof, what up, Big Moss Dog? 5 points of the star. What's good? Lynn from the 903. What's going on? I've been saying this since last year. 2026 is going to be the year of the Cowboys. It's going to be our year. John Jones, Happy New Year's, my brother. John says, what up, G Money? I'm going to tell you like I always tell you, it's a New Jack City. What's going on? Good to see you. It is the Wolf King up in this thing. Timothy Golvin, what's going on? DJ's dad, what's up, DJ's dad? Let's go. My man, Dominique Pittman in the crib. What's going on, Dominique? Welcome to the congregation today. TME Greatness, what's going on? Good to see you. Why? Hi. Yes, sir. This morning was fascinating. Yeah, man. Yeah. JTX made, man, please don't tell me Jerry's bringing Eberflus back. You know what? I saw somebody saying something like this, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. Ronnie Dub, what up, Ronnie Dub? Little Dallas Cowboy, what's going on with you? Derek Harris, what's going on? Appreciate you. Love the show. Appreciate the support. Superman up in this thing. Superman that, you know what I'm talking about. Lee Jackson, what's going on? Steve Campanella. Mr. Take Yo, I see you. Mr. Take Your Girl is up in here. What's going on? What's going on? Pure Game and Scopes, what's going on in this thing, man? Derek Rose, what up with you? What's going on? Just Lee, what up? Richard Villegas in this thing. C. Bellison, Freddie Vince, Roberta, Happy New Year. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Man, let's get this show started. We got a lot of things to talk about. Carl Williams, what's up with you? I see you slipping into the congregation. What's going on? Got a lot of things to talk about. So I want to go back for a moment because I'm really struggling. And I'm not struggling. I'm scruggling. SCRUGGLING. I'm struggling. Because now it's got me thinking, and even last night I started saying this, I'm like, maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm going crazy. Because what they are saying that Matt Eberflus said, I'm struggling because it don't seem like Matt Eberflus said this to me. This sounds to me like Clarence Hill led Matt Eberflus into a question. Matt Eberflus answered it, and people are only taking a part of what he said, and rather than them actually quoting Matt Eberflus, they're quoting Clarence Hill quoting Matt Eberflus. And, okay, y'all got to help me out because I just want to listen to this one more time as we talk about Matt Eberflus, because this doesn't sound like, to me, this isn't Matt Eberflus saying what they're saying he said. This is Clarence Hill saying this, but they're crediting it to Matt Eberflus. Y'all got to help me out here. Let's go back one more time. I'm not going to spend a whole hour segment on this today. But I just got to get clarity on this. I'm struggling with this because y'all heard me a few weeks ago. I misread a comment about Trevon Diggs. I retracted that statement about Trevon Diggs. I just think whenever you make a statement that is inaccurate, you should come back and own that and say that, okay, I made a mistake on that. But Clarence Hill, he went back and he tried to slander Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer flew back with the team and then got on another plane, went to Wyoming with his family. Clarence Hill tried to slander Brian Schottenheimer and said that Trevon Diggs should be entitled to be with his family too, and then post all these pictures about Brian Schottenheimer. Why would you try to slander that man like that and try to say that he actually mistreated Trevon Diggs? Why don't people let Clarence Hill get away with this stuff? It is totally inaccurate. And now we got people running with a statement that Matt Eberflus made. They're running with a statement that Matt Eberflus made, but Matt Eberflus didn't even say what they're saying that he said in the context of it. And I've seen content creators running with this. Now I've seen the national media. The national media is running with this lie that Clarence Hill reported. I don't understand this. Y'all got to help me. Maybe I'm hearing this wrong. Let's listen to this one more time. Let me cue it up.
Question, because we're hammering at it, guys. This week I was showing him good at it yesterday. I think he's very gritty. Yeah, I think that much. Obviously
the most.
It's just
Sports and things. Yeah. Have you done any of that?
A week.
John Schotty with the Athletic.
Star Telegram.
It's in the second half there where that's the
Towards the top.
in this game, so we
Honestly, a different quarter.
and he's quick
Look back on
and just
and how have you?
it's been good up to say that. I think they had 35 runs in the first.
All right,
seven
y'all be
games, I
patient
think,
just
since
for a
that point.
second. Let me cue this
I
up.
think it's been around 6 or 7. In the hunt
The head coach, Talk Cowboys. How much
Okay.
ownership do you take?
in position, so guys were in and out, in terms of the on defense, and then
On the team?
execution in there at times.
Okay, so let's listen to this again, because even they're even reporting this now. Shannon Sharp came out today.
It's got to be.
And I heard Shannon Sharp talking about this, and I was very disappointed, because I'm like, wait a minute. These people in the media are literally going by what Clarence Hill reported rather than what Matt Eberflus said. And if they are going by what Matt Eberflus said, maybe I'm crazy. But it seems to be getting misinterpreted what Matt Eberflus said. It doesn't make sense to me. So, and I want to pull up the article too before I go there. Because they even reported this somewhere else, and I noticed they keep going off of this doggone Clarence Hill statement. Let's see. So, let me just show you some of the headlines. And this doesn't make sense to me. You see comments like this, they're saying stuff like, Matt Eberflus's comment about the value of pass rushers catches Micah Parsons' eye. And so this one isn't the one that I was looking for, but they came back and reported on this today. And the guy who I wanted to point out is this guy here. I forgot his name. That does this show with Phil Simms. He's kind of like he's kind of like what I call a hype man too. I think sometimes he gets a lot of stories wrong. This guy right here on the left. 105.3, the Fan has him on there sometimes. But they're all reporting this like Matt Eberflus was throwing Jerry Jones under the bus as if he was like trying to say Michael Parsons is the reason why things didn't go well. But if you listen to this, Matt Eberflus, that is not where he was going. Let's listen to this real quick. And I think this right here is a very good discussion that these guys are having. So hopefully we don't get copyright struck on this. Let's listen to this. I want you to hear this, and then we're going to go back and listen to Matt Eberflus. I ran across this today. They were talking about this, and I think it's a pretty good discussion that they're having. All right, let's check this out.
And you got to be getting ready for week 1, and you got to keep your best players. And, of course, that prompted Micah Parsons when he saw the tweet from Clarence Hill Jr. characterizing what Matt Eberflus had to say.
Now, notice what he said. What's this guy name? Mike Florio? Yeah, Mike Florio. Mike Florio says, characterizing what Clarence Hill said. But where I'm struggling is why did they look at what Clarence Hill wrote. Clarence Hill wrote, Cowboys defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus admitted things changed for the defense when they lost an all-pro pass rusher who can win quick, but you can't look back. When did Matt Eberflus say that? When did Matt Eberflus say? When did Matt Eberflus even admit that things changed for the defense when they lost all-pro rusher? When did somebody's got to tell me, when did Matt Eberflus say this? Matt Eberflus has enough things for us to blame him for. Trust me when I tell you. He has enough things on his plate. Matt Eberflus is on his way out of here. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I got to give Matt Eberflus, I got to give him some credit as a man. One thing I'm going to do is give him credit as a man. Because I always want to remember that these are men and human beings we're talking about. He is owning everything and making excuses for nothing. You can love this. I said it this morning. I say last night, but it was this morning. You can love or hate Matt Eberflus, and I'm sure you have all the reasons why you do. But this man has owned all of this. That ain't good enough, but he's owned it. Not only has he owned it, he hasn't made a lot of excuses. Matt Eberflus knows full well he ain't got the doggone personnel to do what he needs to do. He really hasn't made that excuse a lot. He really hasn't made that excuse a lot. So Clarence Hill says, though, he admitted. How did he admit it? We're going to listen to Matt Eberflus after we listen to this. Y'all got to tell me if I'm going crazy or not. Maybe I'm missing something. Because I don't hear where Matt Eberflus actually admitted, as Clarence Hill said, he admitted things changed. I don't hear where he said things changed. I didn't hear Matt Eberflus say that. Listen to this.
Up came the tweet with a string of 6 or 7 laugh till you cry emojis. I think that's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 7. 6 or 7,
About
maybe
8 of
8. I think it's 8. It's 8. 8 of them. Hey, they knew what they were doing, but remember what Jerry Jones said at the time. We got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. And the other layer here is that Matt Eberflus, by all appearances, is going to be fired after the season. At one point, Jerry Jones said, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not going to be a difficult decision. There's talk that the Cowboys are eyeing Brian Flores. I think the Vikings are aware, if not concerned, that that's who they're negotiating against, even though technically there should be no negotiations at this point. We know that tampering is rampant in the NFL. But, I think Eberflus is thinking on the way out, you know what, if you're going to fire me, I'm going to tell it like it is. You traded Micah Parsons. What the hell did you expect?
Yeah, he tried to. He tried to be slick with it, Mike. Did you notice that? Like, hey, you traded all pro and things have changed. Oh, but I take full.
But I disagree with this sentiment. And the reason why I disagree with this sentiment, Matt Eberflus did not voluntarily bring up Micah Parsons. Clarence Hill broke what in the court of law, he broke the law. If you've ever listened to cases and lawyers when they talk to, when they're examining and cross-examining a witness, the one thing they are not allowed to do is lead the witness. Matt Eberflus didn't bring up Micah Parsons. Clarence Hill brought up Micah Parsons. And then Clarence Hill, after leading Matt Eberflus, Clarence Hill then goes and interpret what he led Matt Eberflus on as saying that Matt Eberflus admitted something. Matt Eberflus didn't admit anything. He just answered the question. And then they're omitting that he actually didn't say. Matt Eberflus actually didn't say that losing Micah Parsons was the reasons why this defense was bad. Because let me remind everybody and let me rewind history back. The Cowboys defense was historically bad in 2024 with Micah Parsons and before Micah Parsons got hurt. And then after Micah Parsons came back, it was still historically bad. The only thing that we can say is that Micah Parsons still got his sacks. The defense was still bad. It was still bad. It was bad. It looked better bad, but it was bad. We got to stop lying. Yeah. Okay, Matt Eberflus was ranked last. Mike Zimmer was ranked number 29. You ain't going nowhere with either one of them. Stop this. You were going nowhere with either one of those defenses. And then for them to be, this guy is disingenuous. It makes me wonder if any of them even looked at the doggone interview. Because even this guy saying, yeah, he tried to say and then he tried to pull it back. Bro, your mind is bad. Because actually he said the last statement you said first. He didn't say that statement last. He didn't make the comment about Micah Parsons and then go back and try to say, no, but I take full ownership. Bro, he took ownership of the doggone situation 2 questions ago. Man, let me tell you something. I've already said Matt Eberflus needs to go. But doggone it, man. Do we have to pile on with lies? Do we have to pile on with nonsense? But this is what people do as it pertains to Dallas. They take a molehill and turn it into a mountain. And then try to paint this picture that is not true. Like this defense last year was like top 5, top 10 with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons did what Micah Parsons does. He's an elite pass rusher. Everything else, you can argue about it. Stop it. It's pure madness and lies that people are running with. And they run with these lies so that they can continue to sully the name of the Dallas Cowboys and always have it about everything but football when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. There are other teams that have all kinds of crazy things going on, but you don't hear them talking about that. Why aren't they talking about the sabotage of Shedeur Sanders by Kevin Stefanski? You don't see them focusing on that. You don't see them focusing on the story of the Green Bay Packers that even with Micah Parsons before he went down in week 14, that they still look like the same team they were last year with Micah Parsons. The only difference was, Micah Parsons is getting his sacks. Wow. One thing you can count on, I'm just telling you, the one thing you can count on is Micah Parsons, he's going to get his sacks. That's one of the reasons why Jerry said enough is enough. It's not good enough that Micah Parsons is going to just get his sacks. And even when you talk about the run defense for the Dallas Cowboys, man, the worst thing that's happened to the Dallas Cowboys, the defensive line, it's great. It's great now. No doubt about it. Do we need a pass rusher? I do think we need another pass rusher, even though I think Ezra Rocco is going to be better next year. I do think we need a pass rusher, and I do think we need a new defense coordinator. But one of the biggest problems for the Dallas Cowboys in the run game has not been the defensive line only. It's been the linebackers. It was a problem when Dan Quinn was here. Jerry didn't even give Dan Quinn the linebackers that he wanted. Dan Quinn had safeties playing linebacker. That's a Jerry Jones issue that Jerry Jones has to rectify this year. But for them to be writing this story and saying these things about Matt Eberflus, man, I'm telling y'all now, one thing I'm going to give Matt Eberflus credit for as a man, not as a coach, as a man. He's owned it. Love him, like him, or hate him, he's owned it. And I haven't heard him make a lot of excuses. He hasn't made the excuses that he could have made. Because I'm telling you now, I told y'all yesterday, if I was his lawyer, I tell you what I could argue. And this guy's about to argue it. I could argue that he didn't have the players. But if I was the cross-examiner of Matt Eberflus, Where I would destroy him is, but why didn't you make changes quicker to try to do what you could with the players that you had? That's where I would destroy Matt Eberflus. But as far as everything that Matt Eberflus has done, Matt Eberflus has owned it, man. And this story that they're running with for the sake of Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs, it is dumb to me.
Full responsibility, and it starts with me. Yeah, it starts with me, but I need to mention Micah Parsons just so you have the context. He is
This-
right. Look, he's going to be it. I'll be stunned.
This is a lie. Matt Eberflus did not feel the need to mention this. It's a lie. It was Clarence Hill who brought up Micah Parsons, not Matt Eberflus. That's a lie.
If he comes back, because Jerry Jones has pretty much told us he's moving on in so many words. But there is something to be said for training camp. But we keep talking about how they're around. They spend a lot of time in training camp. There are OTAs before training camp starts. So May, June, there's a lot of verbiage there's a lot of stuff that's being installed before we even get to the season.
Now, let me make this other point. What he's saying is not true. This is one of the biggest mistakes that they made with Matt Eberflus. Not only did you not give him the players, Brian Schottenheimer said, we're going to do everything vanilla until the first game of the season. Does anybody remember this? Does anybody remember this other than me? Brian Schottenheimer kept saying they were going totally vanilla. Matt Eberflus kept saying, Brian Schottenheimer kept saying that. That was the plan. And Nate Newton came back, and nobody's giving Nate Newton credit but me. Nate Newton called this out. Nate Newton said, you cannot implement your defense the first game of the season. That's what the training camp, that's what the OTAs are for. And the Cowboys didn't do that. The Cowboys ran a very vanilla defense and a very vanilla offense during OTAs and training camp. And this is one of the reasons why they did look so bad. Because you're trying to implement a defense the first game of the season. And I'm telling you, this is one of the reasons why Kyer Elam goes from the best defensive back in training camp to the worst defensive back on the team. Why? Because they started implementing Matt Eberflus' system. And Kyer Elam struggled in it. The whole defense struggled in it. And that is some of the defense about Matt Eberflus. Man, as much as you can argue against Matt Eberflus, you can argue for Matt Eberflus. The catch-22, though, for Matt Eberflus is simple for me. He didn't try to make the adjustments. He didn't do everything he could do. He didn't make his case to Jerry and these Cowboys saying, I'm doing everything I can do. We don't have the players yet. So I got to make this adjustment and that adjustment. So I might not be able to run my scheme this year. I might not be able to run my scheme this year. I might not be able to run my system this year because we don't have the players that can do it. So let me make adjustments. Let me make the adjustments so that I can run what we have. Issue number 2. Another reason why Matt Eberflus doesn't have the Micah Parsons excuse as much as they try to make it into, he has the Micah Parsons excuse. Somebody tell me how many practices did Micah Parsons practice? How many practices? How many times did Micah Parsons practice in OTAs and training camp? How many times? They were already playing without Micah Parsons. They were already playing without Micah Parsons. Matt Eberflus, the issue that I have with him is that he refused to do as much as he could with what he had. If you got a defense that can't get to the quarterback, Stephen Jones said, well, one of the things you can do is that you could manufacture pressure. Matt Eberflus waited until about week 5 or 6, and that didn't happen until Brian Schottenheimer got inside of the defensive room. He waited like 5 or 6 weeks before he started running blitzes. Those are the things that I have against Matt Eberflus. Matt didn't help himself. But for them to be saying all of these other things and trying to say that Matt Eberflus tried to make excuses, I'm just sorry. I just hadn't heard him make excuses like that.
And so how can you say that's important and then turn around and trade Micah Parsons right before the season starts, and then in midseason bring in Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson and all these guys and expect that it's going to be tight? It's not.
See, you can make the argument for Matt Eberflus. And I don't think trading Micah Parsons was the mistake. I think it's when they traded Micah Parsons that was the mistake. That's the mistake Jerry made. But Jerry, guys, we got to give Jerry at least, and you don't have to. But where I give Jerry some grace on this is Jerry didn't think. I don't believe Jerry, Jerry's saying that this was a discussion from the beginning. I believe it was a discussion, but I don't think it was a discussion by Jerry Jones, because James Slater had already reported that the team, people in the front office and players had already been discussing that they didn't want Micah Parsons on the team anymore. And it was Jerry Jones that vetoed that. Jerry Jones vetoed trading Micah Parsons. So Jerry Jones, I don't think he thought it was going to get to the point of trading Micah Parsons. But I'm going to tell you what I believe the turning point was. And Micah Parsons and David Mulugeta, y'all better understand, they are both shrewd operators, and they tried to play Jerry. They started doing most of their clowning after the draft. They started doing the majority of their clowning after the draft. Because by doing that, they put Jerry in a head, or at least they thought they had put Jerry in a headlock, because you say you don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy no more after the draft. After players are already gone, players have been traded, deals have been made. Now you say, I'm going to get some leverage. I'm going to get some leverage. And so he writes that letter and says, I no longer want to be a Dallas Cowboy. And then when he came out there and sitting and laying on the table and eating nachos, Jerry said, oh no. And I guarantee you, don't you discount this. Brian Schottenheimer said, oh no. Shoot, y'all better recognize. Brian Schottenheimer said heck no. That coaching staff said heck no. They all said heck no when they saw the behavior that Micah Parsons was exuding. They all did it. Problem is why I fought Jerry, they did it too late. But again, they fooled Jerry. They treated him like Willie Pressham. Jerry allowed it to go too long. If Jerry really wanted to trade Micah Parsons, Jerry should have traded Micah Parsons before the draft. Because I'm telling us, I believe that Jerry Jones does get the king's ransom for Micah Parsons if he does it before the draft. I guarantee you he gets the king's ransom.
So I think Eberflus has made his share of mistakes. He can't be last in all the categories they're last in. But even a really good Brian Flores, let's say Brian Flores, who's excellent. Brian Flores would struggle with the setup that Eberflus was given in Dallas. I think anybody would.
Yes.
Any good coordinator is just going to have a real problem with how they did things.
Parsons also went on social media because he was criticized for the 8 laugh till you cry emoji posts. You want me to feel bad? Jerry Jones slandered my name to Cowboys media and national media for months, so I do think I can react to a comment if I want to. Hashtag respectfully. Yeah, hey, this got ugly, and it was.
One thing I'll give Shannon Sharp credit for. One of the things that Shannon Sharp said about Micah Parsons, and I absolutely agree. Shannon Sharp said, Micah Parsons' brother, move on, man. Bro, you're no longer with the Cowboys. Move on. Michael Parsons, y'all want to know the reality? We talked about this last night. We won't spend a lot of time on it today. Guys, I want you to look at this quote. Michael Parsons is a very sensitive individual too. Just like Trevon Diggs, they are two peas in a pod. They are very sensitive individuals. Y'all want me to feel bad. Y'all know why he's saying this, right? Because people went after him. Because he's wrong. Bro, you do feel bad. That's why every opportunity you get, you try to talk bad about the Cowboys. Every opportunity that you get. And then he's saying that the Cowboys slandered his name. So, because Jerry gave his reasoning for trading Michael Parsons, even though Jerry has at every turn continuously given Michael Parsons nothing but credit, Jerry Jones is saying the reason why they traded Michael Parsons is because they couldn't afford it. Jerry is saying we were not willing to pay Michael Parsons $47.5 million. But Michael Parsons, I still say, Michael Parsons does not have the right people around him. Michael Parsons fell in love with the number. David Mulugeta betrayed Michael Parsons, and Michael Parsons betrayed himself with the number because he wanted that number of being the highest paid non-quarterback. Because I'm telling y'all better listen to Ty Smith. Ty Smith said this. Michael Parsons got what he wanted. Let me tell you how hard Ty Smith spoke on Michael Parsons. And people don't even realize it. He indicted Michael Parsons for who he is. He got what he wanted. Only for Ty Smith to then come back and sign his deal with no problems whatsoever. And he didn't try to be the highest non-paid quarterback. He didn't try to exceed. He didn't try to do any of those things. Nope, just got his deal done. Because Ty Smith, he wants to get paid. That comes along with what his talent level is, but he also wants to win, and he wants to be a great teammate. Michael Parsons is a very sensitive individual. Y'all want me to feel sad. I don't know. I mean, want me to feel, I don't know if anybody wanted you to feel bad. I mean, maybe they're just telling you the truth. The same thing Shannon Sharp said. Bro, move on. Move on, bro. Stop always talking about the Dallas Cowboys. But we know that you're trying to stay relevant because I'm just telling y'all, whether y'all accept it or not, Michael Parsons has basically been irrelevant since he's left Dallas. He's been irrelevant. Yeah, he had a career day against the Arizona Cardinals. They're not good. So he should have had a career day against the Arizona Cardinals. Other than that, got injured. Isn't it strange when he got injured? He got injured. How did the media try to make a story out of it? They couldn't make it into a story just by saying, yeah, Michael Parsons got injured. No. They started asking all the Dallas Cowboys, what do you think about the Michael Parsons injury? Pure madness. Always trying to capitalize off the Dallas Cowboys. Sad. Sad. It's absolutely sad. And so I want to listen to Matt Eberflus one more time, and then we're going to move on from this. Poobie D in the building. What up, Poobie D? Kevin Ellis, what's up? Forever DC, what's going on? Good to see you. Justin Bradley in this thing. Frank Lawrence, good to see y'all in the congregation. Football Fanatic, what's going on? Your stuff, you should get your stuff soon, Football Fanatic, and I'll be letting y'all know the 10 people who got the hoodies and the shirts here over the next couple of days. Now, Poobie D. Poobie D says we better get used to the agent. He not going nowhere if we want to keep Pickens. Jerry can't get around the agent. Now, Poobie D, let's follow this. George Pickens has already made it clear that he's not going to talk without his agent. It's the same thing Parsons should have did. If Parsons had not talked to Jerry without his agent, half of this stuff wouldn't be going on. George Pickens has already set the precedent. He's already laid down what he's going to do. I'm not talking without my agent. That's exactly what George Pickens should do. Same thing Michael Parsons should have did. Same thing Dak Prescott did. Same thing CeeDee Lamb did. Do not talk to Jerry Jones about your money without your agent. Let your agent do all that talk. But at the same time, if you want to be in Dallas, you also tell David Mulugheta, the goal is staying in Dallas. I'm not willing to leave Dallas. I'm not going to play in Siberia just to get the highest amount of money. I want to be smart. Getting $47.5 million in Minnesota, in Green Bay, is not the same thing as getting $47.5 million in Dallas. You could take $40 million in Dallas, and it would still be better than getting $47.5 million up there in Green Bay. The weather's better. The cost of living is better. More things to do. Bigger media. Just a bigger market overall. You're more marketable being in a marketable area. You could give up $7 million on the front and get another $40 million on the backside because you're a Dallas Cowboy. Michael Parsons is bitter. Michael Parsons is bitter. And if y'all don't believe it, you don't have to. This man is bitter. I believe Michael Parsons wants to be a Dallas Cowboy still, and he got mad because he's not a Dallas Cowboy no more. Man, people do not understand what it means. If you fool yourself and think, oh, people don't want to play for Dallas, it's nothing playing for Dallas. Oh, Dallas ain't this. Man, let me tell you something. It's lucrative being in Dallas, bro. It's lucrative being in Dallas. Man, what is going on? Quan Cowboy Sports, more jersey sales. Say it, Quan. Say it. Say it, Quan. Man, people do not understand. It is lucrative being in Dallas. Nah, you don't want to go nowhere else, man. And if you can help this team win, man, you can write your own ticket. You can write your own ticket. Let's listen to Matt Eberflus, then we're going to move on from this segment.
Be better.
You know, when you took the job, I think you had a certain expectation who was going to be on the team. And
now, just listen to how Clarence Hill starts this question. When you took the job, you expected certain players on the defense.
how you wanted to play. How much did that change at the start of the season when Michael left?
Yeah, I don't know if it changed that much.
Why is nobody highlighting this statement? Why isn't anybody highlighting this part of the statement? Matt Eberflus said, I don't know if it would have made that big of a difference. That's clearly what he said. And if you go back and look at 2024, it didn't make that big of a difference when Michael Parsons was healthy. They had D-Law, they had Jordan Lewis, they had those players last year. It didn't make a difference. The defense was still historically bad. I mean, I don't understand, the difference between trash and trash. I guess there's different types of trash, but if it's all in the trash can, isn't it trash? I mean, is there really a difference between the 29th ranked defense and the number 32 defense? Yeah, it is. What? I guess about 3 points, but at the end of the day, you're not going nowhere with either one of them. Man, you ain't going nowhere with either one of them. You're not going nowhere with the 29th ranked defense, and we didn't go anywhere. And you're not going anywhere with the number 32 ranked defense. You're not going anywhere. It is just so disingenuous the way people treat a lot of these situations. Matt Eberflus clearly told Clarence Hill he don't know if it would have made much of a difference. I can tell you it wouldn't have made a difference. Because if you keep Michael Parsons, you don't have Kenny Clark, you don't have Quinnen Williams. It's not going to. This is pitiful. And the problem with our run game, it's not the defensive tackles that we got. We got a problem at the linebacker position. We got a problem at the linebacker position. Poobie D, offense wasn't good either last year. It wasn't. And even though Poobie D, it wasn't good, they were still putting up points some kind of way. Go back and look at that Dallas Cowboys season last year. They were still putting up points. It's not like they were not putting up points. I mean, they still had Dak Prescott. They were still putting up points. But that defense was bad. I mean, it was bad. No different than it. Well, I shouldn't say no different. It was bad last year. It's bad this year. And so, again, guys, we better get ready. We better get ready. Because if you're going to bring in another defensive coordinator, man, the Cowboys better bring in a show enough defensive coordinator. Because if they don't, we're going to have to be patient that defense is probably going to take half a season to get itself going. It's going to probably take a half a season. And hopefully it won't take a half a season if they get a new defensive coordinator, because they won't do what they did, I believe, last year, doing this all this old dumb stuff, talking about let's be real vanilla and let's not show anybody anything. We only get this chance one time to where nobody's going to know what we're doing. Man, that was the dumbest thing the Cowboys did. Man, get y'all butt out there in this get y'all butt out there in the OTAs and get this thing going. Get this thing going in the OTAs. Man, get out there in training camp and put that defense and get that thing worked on full display. And maybe Jerry Jones, this coming season, maybe Jerry Jones ought not sign up for so many public practices. That's another issue. Maybe you don't need to sign up for so many public practices, man. This team needs to get down to the nitty-gritty this coming season. There's no doubt about it, man. Get down to the nitty-gritty. All right, let's listen to the rest of this Matt Eberflus statement, then we're going to move on to our next segment of Jerry Jones. But I'm telling us, man, they're lying about this Matt Eberflus thing, and I don't understand why nobody's calling it out except for me. This is a flat-out lie. Matt Eberflus did not give Michael Parsons all of this credit. What he did say is, anytime you have a pass rusher like a Michael Parsons or a Myles Garrett, he was saying just in general. Of course you look better or you play better when you got a pass rusher. But the problem is, but what else do you have around that pass rusher? Cowboys wouldn't have looked any different.
Obviously you have an all-pro pass rusher that wins really quick. That's certainly going to help any defense. If it's Micah or if it's Myles or whoever that might be, that impact player is always going to help, to a certain degree, And
Notice what he said. A certain degree. How much? Very disingenuous. This is just another way for the Dallas media to always try to turn the fan base against the ownership, the front office, and the team at large. I mean, even you got to think about this in the grand scheme of things. This includes the coaching staff that they're doing and trying to cause all this division in. It's absolutely crazy. But Matt Eberflus did not say, y'all tell me maybe I'm going crazy, but it doesn't. What they're saying that Matt Eberflus said, Matt Eberflus didn't say that.
Pass downs and other downs, but, again, you can't look back, right? It is what it is, and then you just focus on where you are.
Matt Eberflus, I applaud him as a man. I think what he's saying is right. I absolutely do. I think what he's saying is right. But where the indictment comes on him is that Matt Eberflus didn't do all that he could with what he had. And he had to have his hands forced whenever he made a lot of his adjustments. And that's the thing. That's the indictment. That is the pure indictment on Matt Eberflus. And I really think there's a deeper thing going on with Matt Eberflus also, simply because I'm still relating what happened in Chicago. And I think Matt Eberflus really needs to go back if he's not with the Cowboys anymore, and really evaluate kind of how he communicates to players, how he brings his messages across. Because I think this is kind of where he lost some of his defensive guys. I think he lost some of them. And I just think his message fell on deaf ears. And people just didn't like the way he does things. And so I really think he needs to go back and evaluate this, because this is the second time now in a row. And I still say, when you look at his defense, though, his defenses have not ever been this bad. Even in Chicago on a 6-game losing streak, they were not this bad. They were not this bad, man. They were not. So I really do think he needs to go back and do do some soul searching, and and I don't think he'll get another job. I mean, I don't think he'll get a job next year anyway. But he definitely, even if he was offered a job, if I was him, I wouldn't even try it, bro. You need a break. You absolutely need a break. Star Guardian X said, at this point, Jerry, just get a good DC in here. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you the problem that's going to be with Brian Flores. I do think that Brian Flores may actually get considered for some head coaching jobs in this league. But if Brian Flores does not get considered for a head coaching job, I really think that Jerry should really make a swing at Brian Flores. Timothy Govan, appreciate that $10 super chat. I agree with you. Man, I'm telling you, I pray the Cowboys do not promote White Cotton. I do not want the Cowboys to promote anybody on the staff. The Cowboys need to go out, and I agree, get you a dynamic defensive coordinator. I'd rather the Dallas Cowboys get them a young, fresh-minded DC. Go out there and get somebody that these players can relate to. I think Brian Flores would be great for him, because he seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't be afraid of Jerry Jones. Brian Flores, he will build his defense, also acquire an offensive play caller, have a major role in free agency is a must. Yeah, you've already heard me say many times, I do think the Cowboys need to get a dynamic play caller. I don't think Schotty is good enough. Maybe he'll be better coming back next year. But I actually think calling plays takes away from Schotty being the general of his team on a game day. I think Schotty would be better suited as a general and overseeing every single thing, so that when you got a player who may check out of a game for a moment, like a George Pickens, something happens and George gets kind of checked out, he can go and check George Pickens and kind of get his mind back in the game. He can check a CeeDee Lamb and tell him to stop ranting on the sideline. He can go to a Kenneth Murray and say, sit your butt down somewhere. You had it. I mean, you've had it for the day. I mean, you really gotta let Schotty be that sideline general, to where he can talk and touch on every single thing that's happening over there on the sideline. So I agree with you, Timothy Govan. I do think that is one of the things that the Cowboys should do, even though I don't think they're going to do it. Forever DC, I agree with you. A great coach would adjust to what his players need to bring out their best, not continue to wait until he thinks the players are going to grasp it. Forever DC, and not just that part, let me add this part, and not just make the adjustments when they tell you that your job is on the line. Yes, sir. This is where I have the problems with Eberflus. And when things don't work, Eberflus tries to stay the course and just continues to say things like the players got to play better, we're not executing, and all of these things. No. Hey, Kevin Nellis, let me tell you something. I hope Jerry don't even give Rex Ryan a second look. I said it before, I'll say it again. There is no way that you are a top-tier defensive coordinator and they're letting you sit on the sidelines. Bro, if you are that good of a defensive coordinator, teams would be beating that desk down. I'm sure Rex Ryan isn't over there on ESPN making that big-time type of money. No, they'd be beating his doors down. No, I don't want to see him over here either. Forever DC, he says the same thing I said. Do not make White Cotton a DC. What has he done? I'm the same way. I don't care if Quinnen Williams, I don't care if Perion Winfrey, I don't care if all those guys, Solomon Thomas, I think his name. I don't care who's played for him. Do not let this man be the DC because that would be the Dallas way of doing things. That is too easy. Go out there and do a coaching search. He says, it's easy to coach Quinnen, Osa, Clark, Clowney. It's what he does with it's what he does with other players who haven't reached their best and had rest has digressed under him. Yeah, and I get exactly what you're saying, man. It's easy to coach superstars. It's easy to coach superstars. Yeah, Kevin Ellis said this is a coaching issue. Yeah, Poobie D said we need to stop waiting for free agency to be over before we go bargain basement shopping. Yeah. And I do think they are going to change some of these things this coming up year. Now, Chris Dunaway. It's the way Flus blames his players that is the disconnect. He'll take ownership in his press conferences. He's owning it. But he'll also say stuff like, didn't execute. Which some of that is true, didn't execute. And it's just a bad message all around with some of the players. Still hot, boy. We talked about this last night. Yeah, Al Harris ain't getting a shot. Yeah, Al Harris is not getting a shot with the Cowboys. Al Harris has been blamed, and rightfully so or unrightfully so, he has been blamed for some of the antics of Trevon Diggs. He was a big Trevon Diggs advocator. And he went, I'm sure what they're saying is he went to bat for Trevon Diggs on quite a few occasions. And the Cowboys are saying, no, we don't want Al Harris. So Al Harris, I don't think will be back in Dallas. Forever DC, he said, I think Rex is paying BSP. He said BSP. Boy, y'all so clever with some of these names y'all be coming up with. Boy, that's clever right there, Forever DC. He said BSP in the champion him. He said it's crazy. The balls these guys have. The balls this guy has to think he is some great defensive coach. Forever DC. If he was that great again, why ain't nobody else beating his door down? Yeah, Justin Bradley, it wouldn't matter if Chicago was letting him go. Cowboys don't want no more Al Harris. They don't. Yeah, Derek Giles, yeah, I agree with you. We need DC's going to get the best out of our players. Superstar, Star Guardian next. Appreciate that super chat. Star Guardian next. That's kind of where I am. I would like for the Cowboys, if they don't get Brian Flores, I would actually like them to go to the college ranks. I would like them to go to the college ranks and see what's up there. Richard Baptiste, I've heard people talking about the DC in Cleveland. I've heard people talking about him. Poobie D, I absolutely do hope I hope Jerry allows Brian Schottenheimer to suggest his own defensive coordinator this time. Since Jerry did this one and it didn't work, I would like to see Brian Schottenheimer get his opportunity to bring in his own guy. I would. Football Fanatic says our linebackers suck. Overshown is not the same, so how is that on Eberflus? Football Fanatic. Again, if I was a lawyer for Matt Eberflus, this is one of the arguments I could make because this is where the run game has actually been bad. It's been bad because of the linebacker play. It has been. It really has been. All right, guys, we're going to continue our discussion on all these things. We're going to scoot on over here to Jerry Jones. And we will continue our discussions as we keep going on. Jerry Jones, hey, 72 Chevelle in this thing. What's going on? David Everett, good to see y'all, man. Shadid Mahdi, what's going on? Thomas Roth, good to see you. Let's check him out.
We bring you our Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager, Jerry Jones. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, man.
Well, it's a great day to be alive, as always.
Oh, wait, sorry about that.
And, you know, I wanted to start with this. We've talked a lot about it, and we all agree Darren Woodson should be a Hall of Famer.
Boy, y'all be killing me with some of these days, boy. Thomas Ross said, count Jerry from the crib. Boy, stop it. Boy, y'all crazy. Boy. Kevin Edwards says, Forever DC, ESPN is campaigning for Rex Ryan. Of course they do. Of course they're campaigning for him. Man, you got to realize, man, you get a guy like Rex Ryan, you get a guy like Rex Ryan in the building, man, Rex Ryan will be up in here telling all your business. Sure, of course, I guarantee you they want him up in there.
But Jason Witten is now in his first year of eligibility and a finalist. In your eyes, is Jason Witten a no-doubt first ballot Hall of Famer?
No.
Well, I would think so. Of course, I don't have a
No.
vote, period. But we all know he would get my vote. But when you
There is no way that he can be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Darren Woodson has not been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Nah, bro. There is no way. There is no way Jason Witten is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer tight end. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. No, this is Darren Woodson's year.
look at the complete body of work on Jason, and I'll never forget, I was sitting with Jason in New York, and we were with the top guy at the medical center there in New York. He had tried everybody in Dallas to clear him so that he could play against the opening game against the Giants with a cut spleen. And so we had him up there in New York with the best. And the doctor looked over at him and he said, Jason, how bad do you want to play in this game tomorrow? And he said, it means everything to me, everything. He said, that's why I'm here. And the guy said, I'm going to clear you because there'll be 20 others playing with a lot more hazardous conditions than this. Well, that was Jason Witten going out there with a cut spleen. And he was outstanding, of course, as he, for all time, most of the time approached and everything he did. He's a Hall of Famer.
Jerry, when you guys drafted him, can you take us back to that moment when y'all drafted him? Were you like, this guy is going to be this kind of player, or were you like, we're drafting another tight end?
No.
All right, I'm gonna let him get past the Jason Witten conversation. I'm not really interested in that. Jason Witten should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No way. Timothy Gover got me laughing. He said, breaking news, G, I don't want Turpin in the receiver room at all in 2026. Oh, man. Football fanatic. Okay, you got me excited. Now, he said, I think Jerry Jones is going to make some big moves in free agency. He said, I'm glad you're playing this interview. Okay.
Physical
Cool.
package of what he
All
could
right.
do physically. So we were really elated when we got him in the third round. He was disappointed. He was always disappointed, and he was right. He should have been a first rounder.
Boy, Quinn Scott got me rolling up in here.
There's a big game coming up.
Quinn Scott said, Jerry drinking again. My turn to get a shot. Oh, man. Robert Dudley, yeah, second or third ballot, yeah, but yeah, first ballot, nah, man. Nah, you can't let him get in first ballot, and Darren Woodson did get in first ballot. Nah, ain't no way. Thomas Roth, I agree with you. I wish Jerry would have already signed Brandon Aubrey. 72 Chevelle, I'm with you. No more old coaches. I think the Cowboys need to get young at the defense coordinator position. Oh, man, forever DC, I'm with you. Man, if Darren Woodson don't get in the Hall of Fame, man, boy, man. Dolores Ennis, good to see you. Happy New Year. Poobie D, boy, you ain't never lied. Darren Woodson, man, Darren Woodson has to be in the top 10 of safeties. All time, Darren Woodson has to be one of the top 10 all-time safeties. Man, Darren Woodson would knock you into the next season, literally. The big Rumbowski said Witten's wife told him last summer to tell Jerry to stick it as his butt is staying coaching at Liberty Christian until our kids graduate. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she wanted him to coach them chilling. Yeah, I'm with you, Aussie. He can't get it before. He cannot get it before Woodson. David said, I would like for the Cowboys to get both defensive end for the Miami Hurricanes. Their quarterback, Carson Beck, let him sit and learn behind Dak. Man, let me tell you something. Boy, that quarterback from Ole Miss, whoo! Boy, that quarterback from Ole Miss is different too, man. Yeah, man. 72 Javale said prejudice against Woodson. Dunaway said Woodson was that dog. Boy, I can't lie to you, man. I can't even.
On Sunday against the Giants. I know you've talked about it. I know Schotty has talked about it, the desire to win this game and the desire to get to 8-1. And I want to get back around to that in just a second, but there are so many issues percolating this morning. One of them being, I know he's not even on the team anymore, but Micah Parsons tweeted out, and I quote, Jerry Jones slandered my name to Cowboys media and national media for months, so I do think I can react.
I'm struggling on where did Jerry Jones slander Micah Parsons. It seemed like to me Jerry Jones went out of his way to always say nothing but great things about Micah Parsons. Now, he did justify him trading Micah Parsons by saying he wanted to get better in the run game and saying that they had Micah Parsons for 4 years and it really didn't get them where they wanted to get, and so he wasn't paying him that money. I understand that entire conversation. But as far as the slander goes, man, Jerry continues to say the only reason why they didn't sign Michael Parsons was the money. He doesn't even allude to any of the other things that James Slater and others have alluded to. So, man, I don't understand all of the – I do understand it. I believe Michael Parsons is bitter because he thought that Jerry Jones was going to bend over and go ahead and sign him, and he was going to be the man in Dallas. And Jerry Jones said, nope, you out of here. Yep, I'm with you forever, DC. Jerry Jones sent him to Green Bay. He could have sent him to some doo-doo team. This is the part I said too, forever, DC. I don't understand why he's mad. Not only did he send him to Green Bay, Jerry released his, I'm not going to say what I want to. God forgive me. I ain't going to even say it. But Jerry even released, again, I wish my sister Miss Matrix was on here. I love having this conversation with her. But come on. If y'all don't think that Michael Parsons had something to do by now, if y'all don't think that Michael Parsons had something to do with Trevon Diggs coming to Green Bay, how is it Trevon Diggs has no agent, purposely disobeys Brian Schottenheimer, because I believe he knew it would get him cut, gets David Mulugeta as his agent, and then gets signed to the Green Bay Packers? Big Rombowski, you had mentioned this the other day. You said there was another team that had actually inquired about Trevon Diggs. Well, it's no surprise from what I've heard. The team that was inquiring about Trevon Diggs was the New England Patriots. No surprise. Stephon Diggs is on the team. I mean, no surprise. Not to mention the New England Patriots play a lot more man, and it would have made more sense for him to go to the New England Patriots. But the Green Bay Packers went out there. David Mulugeta obviously contacted them, and they went and got Trevon Diggs. I believe they did that as a favor for Micah Parsons. I really do. I think they did it as a favor for Micah Parsons. It all seems too well orchestrated. Too well orchestrated. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying this Richard Baptiste Parsons was telling them to act like that. I believe it. Derek Harris said it was all planned out. I believe it. And I'm going to tell y'all something about David Mulugeta, man. David Mulugeta is a shrewd operator. Did y'all notice Michael Parsons' back injury? Michael Parsons' back injury disappeared. Nobody finds that to be weird? There's my sister, Miss Matrix. Miss Matrix, what do you think about what I'm telling you? What do you think about what I'm telling you about the orchestration of this thing with with Trevon Diggs? Tell me now if you thought about it. Good to see you, my sister. Good to see you. Robowski said, yep, that's what I read on X2. The reporter said New England said actually put in a claim, but Green Bay had priority based on the record. And then Rombowski, I don't know if you heard this part, but after the New England Patriots started getting wind of some of the details that was going on with Trevon Diggs, from what my understanding is, they withdrew. They actually withdrew. So, man, this thing with Trevon Diggs, man, it absolutely stinks. Bro, this thing with Trevon Diggs absolutely stinks. But I don't understand why Michael Parsons keeps making up this narrative about how Jerry felt and said and this. And, man, I'm going to tell y'all this. And y'all are entitled to have any opinion you want to, and I'm not going to criticize you for it, but I'm going to tell you this. If there is anybody on the Cowboys organization that loved Michael Parsons, it's Jerry Jones. It's Jerry Jones. I'm telling y'all now, if y'all don't believe it, man, it hurt Jerry Jones when he traded Michael Parsons. It hurt Jerry Jones. It hurt Jerry Jones. It hurt Jerry Jones to trade Michael Parsons. Jerry Jones, while everyone else hated the podcast, Jerry had no problem with the podcast. Jerry Jones don't believe in bad publicity. Jerry Jones loved him some Michael Parsons. Loved him some Michael Parsons, man. Absolutely did. Jerry Jones tried to engraft Michael Parsons into the Dallas Cowboy family. Michael Parsons, man, you know what? I wish I could have talked to this young man. Bro, you let your pride get in the way. When Jerry Jones put you in the Dallas Cowboy family, bro, forget $7.5 million. Bro, you should have signed that deal for $40 million. Jerry is going to turn you on to endorsement deals. Jerry's going to turn you on to investment deals. Ask Emmitt Smith about the investment deals that Jerry Jones has turned him on to. Jerry Jones has made Emmitt Smith more money after the Cowboys than he made when he played for the Cowboys. Ask Emmitt Smith. Ask Emmitt Smith. Man, when Jerry was trying to make Michael one of them. Jerry was trying to make Michael one of them. Shoot. Man, Michael Parsons, I wish I could have talked to this young brother. Bro, don't you let David Mulugeta talk you out of a lifetime of... Michael Parsons stays with the Cowboys. He has a lifetime of success. The Joneses would have made sure this man would have been in on investments. Man, this man would have got in the broadcast booth, on television, you name it, Michael gets it. He gonna have to earn it in Green Bay. Yeah, he gonna have to earn it in Green Bay. The only way he's gonna get any notoriety in Green Bay, they gotta win a Super Bowl. He gotta earn it. He gotta earn it in Green Bay. If I'm an endorser, bro, you don't look attractive in Green Bay. There ain't no market in Green Bay where I want to endorse you. There is no market. Man, I wish I could have talked to this young man. Bro, don't you dare leave Dallas. Especially when you talking about going to Green Bay. In the grand scheme of things, bro, you going with Jordan Love? What? Stop it, bro. Man, I'm be honest with you. Man, I got more confidence in Malik Willis than Jordan Love. I'm laughing, I ain't even laughing. I got more confidence in Malik Willis than I do Jordan Love. Jordan Love has been a huge problem for the Green Bay Packers this year. Jordan Love got paid, and he's a David Mulugeta client. David Mulugeta gets these players all this money. Jordan Love was good for half a season. That dude been average ever since. He been injured and average ever since. Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way. I can't even get over it. But at the same time, I wish Michael Parsons Godspeed. I think the best thing the Cowboys did was get the defensive tackle situation. And I think they're going to be great for it.
To comments if I want to. Hashtag respectfully. This was in a back and forth about Diggs and Eberflus and things like that. What do you think about Micah's assertion that you slandered his name?
Well, I wish Micah the very best, and I think a lot. I really do. I think a lot of his mom and his family, and Micah just got to where he outgrew our ability to pay, and he's a great player, and he's going to make great plays. Everybody knows add and subtract and get 5 for and what the decision came down to.
Man, we can't even hear what Jerry Jones is saying on this part about Michael Parsons, man. Come on, man. Can't even hear it, man. Can't even hear it. Yeah, Thomas Roth. This is where somebody other than David Mulugeta should have been talking to Michael Parsons, man. Taxes is why a lot of pros skip New York. Bro, I would never go to New York unless you traded me there. If you didn't trade me to New York, I'm not going. Man, there's a lot of teams I wouldn't play for. You couldn't trade me to New York, and you couldn't trade me to any of the California teams. I'm not going to either one of those places. I'm not going to either one of those places. I'm sorry. I'm going to take my chances somewhere else, but I'm not going to those places. There's just no way. I'm not playing there. And David Mulugeta, I'm sorry, but Michael Parsons, like I said this morning, Michael Parsons should have told David Mulugeta, bro, we're not leaving Dallas. Let's make that clear. We're not leaving Dallas. And Michael Parsons put all his trust in David Mulugeta and let David Mulugeta use every undermined and every trick that he could use to try to get the money out of Jerry Jones. And they thought they were going to do to Jerry what they've been doing, and Jerry said no. Roberta, yep. Ego, EGO. Every single time. Pride comes before the fall. Funk or die. Yeah, I'm just telling the truth, my brother Funk or die. He said, get him, G. Telling the truth. JTX made. I think you just made a great comment. Mulugeta turned the Packers into what Jerry didn't want. 3 players taking up the whole cap. Yeah. Freddie said, he said, I'm going to say it again. Diggs and Mike on the down low. He said, you pick playing Mike instead of your brother. Come on, man. Man, you know what, Freddie? A lot of people say that, man. Mills, book it. We're signing Pickens. Book it. Book it. I don't think the Cowboys are going to wait on Pickens. I don't really think they're going to wait on Pickens. I think they're going to sign him early.
I'd love to have Micah on the team, but we just couldn't afford him, and we wanted 4 or 5 players more than we did him. But he's outstanding. I understand his sensitivity and.
Man, we got people criticizing Jerry Jones for saying he understands Michael Parsons' sensitivity. Come on, man. If it's not being sensitive, what is it? If it's not being sensitive, what is it? Oh, man.
Can even understand these comments.
Hey, Poopy D, you make a great comment, but I did something last night. And you know what? This is a good subject I may tackle in the future. You said, man, where was this energy for Drew Rosenhaus when he was pimping teams? Poopy D, can I give you a huge difference? because I did this last night. Poopy D, let me give you the huge difference between David Mulugeta and Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus, the players that Drew Rosenhaus was getting all that money for, Super Bowl level players. Super Bowl level players. These players that Mulugeta keeps getting signed, the Christian Wilkins, the Deshaun Watsons, all those types of players. Jordan Love is another one of those players. Michael Parsons is turning into one of those players. Paid him $47.5 million. The Green Bay Packers are going to miss him for an entire season pretty much. They're going to miss him since week 14 of this season, and they're not going to probably have him back until about week 12, 13, or 14 of next season. So in essence, the Green Bay Packers are on the hook for a season that this man is not going to play. The difference between Rosenhaus and Mulugeta, and nobody's talking about this. This dude Mulugeta keeps getting these players these huge deals. And those deals are not working out for those teams. Man, Deshaun Watson has got to be, man, somebody need to go check the penal code, because the Deshaun Watson deal has got to be a crime. It has got to be a crime. It is a literal crime. And I'm telling y'all now, David Mulugeta wasn't even Trevon Diggs' agent. But man, Trevon Diggs, in a sense, he robbed the Cowboys. Cowboys got one season out of him, pretty much. One season. And an extra 2 or 3 games. I mean, it's the game. It's the game. You can't argue with the game, but it is what it is. But Drew Rosenhaus, and again, Poopy D, we had this whole discussion last night. I'm not mad at him about his job. That's the game. It's the game. But I don't blame Jerry when Jerry don't want to play the game. I don't blame Jerry when he don't want to play the game. Man, I wouldn't play that game with David Mulugeta either. And I don't think Jerry's going to have to play that game. I don't think Jerry's going to have to play that game with George Pickens. And the reason why Jerry's not going to have to play that game with George Pickens, because I don't think people view George Pickens the way they view Michael Parsons. I don't think they view George Pickens the same way. And so I think George Pickens is probably going to fall somewhere between 33 and 40. So, you know, that's going to be is what it is. But the Cowboys will actually save money on the cap if they'll go ahead and sign George Pickens, give him a huge signing bonus, kick that money down into the void years. Cowboys will be good to go. And he's not going to be wanting no $47.5 million. That's a whole different discussion when you're talking about George Pickens.
But the facts are the facts, and when you just put it on one player, that player can get hurt. And if you got it on 4 or 5 players, the chances of all of them getting hurt are not there. And so you often don't have those players when you put that high dollar on them. That goes with the risk of putting all that money on one player. But to be real clear, it certainly never was personal with Micah.
Have you ever experienced this kind of emotional back and forth with another player in your time, Jerry? Always.
Everybody's very sensitive when you're talking about their finances, and you talk about it. It is like a critique of their play, and I completely understand why it's sensitive to talk about that, and I go through that emotional gambit and have with most every decision that I've ever made that were meaningful. And since I started out pretty slim, every decision has been meaningful if it gets over in that financial world. And, man, I could get mad in a minute if somebody tried to charge me more than I wanted to pay for a car. And I'd get mad at them. But after it was over, we hugged and made up, and I drove off with the car, and he put the money in his pocket.
There you go. Jerry, we've seen, and we've been critical about this a lot of times, Kevin, you and I both, about guys holding on, this organization holding on to players for too long. And then we'll also complain that maybe you cut a player, moved on too early. What goes into deciding to stick with a guy or cut bait?
Well, I really think that if you really think about it, you're going to always be a little early or a little late. Always. It's impossible to just nail it. And so, it is a lot of things are involved. Certainly you get to have personal relationships with players, and that's real hard to do. I have trouble.
Let me say this real quick, because Poopy D, you brought up a good question. I had to go back and look at this thing with Drew Rosenhaus. Lock and D is in the crib, and Bernard Bradford, what's going on, y'all? Let me see here. Bernard Bradford said something that I like, and I've said this before. Bernard Bradford, this is a great point. The agent works for you, not Parsons works for him. And this is where a lot of people fail. This is where a lot of players fail. Michael Parsons should have told Mulugeta from the get-go, the goal is to stay in Dallas. But, Poopy D, you brought up a good point. Let me show you something, let me show you the difference between David Mulugeta and the difference in Drew Rosenhaus. Because Drew Rosenhaus, when you think about some of the players that he's actually represented, Drew Rosenhaus has got Super Bowl level players. Rob Gronkowski, Tyreek Hill, Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens, Frank Gore. I'm not putting LaShawn McCoy in there. Shaquille Barrett. Rob Gronkowski, we know he's got Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tyreek Hill, we know he got a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. Antonio Brown, we know he got Super Bowls. I think he got Super Bowls, doesn't he? Patriots and the Buccaneers. Owens went with the Philadelphia Eagles. Shaquille Barrett, Buccaneers. LaShawn McCoy, I don't know why they put him on there. Plexico, I thought Plexico Burris went to a Super Bowl. Maybe he didn't. But I thought Plexico went to one. He's had Warren Sapp. But again, when I tell you about Drew Rosenhaus, because yeah, Drew Rosenhaus was getting big time money off of teams. But at the same time, man, this dude Drew Rosenhaus has had some clients that have shown enough been impactful in Super Bowls. When you look at Drew Rosenhaus, you only got 2 or 3. You only got 2 or 3 and 2 and 3 on there. And Jalen Ramsey is one of them. But Jalen Ramsey was getting his socks burned off in that Super Bowl against Cincinnati Bengals. He's getting his socks burned off. They had a super team over there. And so you only get what? Jalen Ramsey? You get Nick Bosa, who went to a Super Bowl. They haven't won one yet. But, man, when you look at the client list that David Mulugeta has, Poopy D, bro, it needs to be studied and investigated. It needs to be studied and investigated, bro. This dude is killing this league with those deals. And these players are not turning out. Man, they're not turning out. I don't blame Jerry. Now, he's going to have to do business as it applies to George Pickens. But I don't think he's going to have a problem with George Pickens again, because George Pickens is not viewed in the same light as a Michael Parsons. And so I really do think the Cowboys may be able to get George Pickens somewhere in that $32 to $36 million range, which I think the Cowboys can easily afford that. Like I said, give him a huge signing bonus, sign him for about 3 years, give him a huge signing bonus, put some clauses, crash out clauses in George Pickens' contract. Same thing they did with DK Metcalf. If you do some crash outs, from what they're saying, that DK Metcalf is basically giving up $45 million guaranteed dollars. Put some of those same things inside of that George Pickens contract, and you good to go.
Doing it. I have trouble going past my personal relationships with players, and I've made mistakes because of it. And that's a part of it. It's not necessarily unique, though, to the Cowboys or football. It goes on out there every place, and those decisions become personal for the ones involved.
Now, you were on with our morning show on Tuesday, as you are every single week, and right after that, later in the day, Trevon Diggs was waived from the team. I know there's a lot that goes into it. It wasn't just one incident, but
Tatiana, I'm with you. No franchise tag. I do not want that hanging over this team's head. No, I want them to go ahead and sign George Pickens. Go ahead and give him a 4-year deal with 3 of them guaranteed, and you'll have him for the 26, 27, and 28. You know, even if you give him a 3-year deal and front load a lot of that money, you do not want the headache of franchising George Pickens. Because I'll be honest with y'all, I don't think David Mulugeta is going to allow the Cowboys to franchise George Pickens simply because he was not going to allow them to let Michael Parsons play on that last year of his deal. And one of the things that's hard to determine if a player is hurt is when you start talking about back and, you know, back issues and neck issues, and I don't think they let him do it.
I'm curious, do you feel like that relationship was essentially broken when Diggs wasn't at the team facility for rehab earlier in the year?
You know, a lot is made of relationships, and they are important. But at the end of the day, I've seen players have great careers and not be necessarily excited about who the coach is,
exactly,
or who
forever,
their
DC.
General manager is, or who their owner is. It gets down to the one that lives with what they are themselves, and then probably their second most important consideration, or maybe their first most in consideration above themselves, is their teammate. And so it's not uncommon because we've got almost 100 players. And since I've been involved with the Cowboys, I dare say I'm approaching 4,000 players since I've been involved.
Wow.
And so those are a lot of people. And the appreciation is that you have in common is that you love sports, you love to compete. But I'm going to tell you, I have a unbelievable high ceiling on what I think of players that give it up and play football. Now, they have to really, especially at the NFL level, they have to have given up a lot to get there.
Yeah, we talked about that last night, Poobie D, or I should say this morning. David Mulugeta has some clients that's yet to be seen. But I can tell you this, it don't look like the Houston. You know what? But I'm going to tell you something about the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are benefiting from having the number 1 overall defense in the league, but I'm not sure that they're going to make that Super Bowl this year. But yeah, he does have some players that the verdict is still going to be out on. The verdict is still out on Michael Parsons. We got to still see if Michael Parsons is going to make a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. He still has the verdict out there on some players, but I'm going to tell you this, bro, he got a lot of players on his client list. Those are not going to be Super Bowl. They are not going to be Super Bowl level players. They're not.
On the other hand, I know they have an appreciation for the life and the opportunity to get to do it. Now, they've come along in the last year since I've been in the NFL, and I think it's going to be that way for at least 15, 20, 30 more. They're in the red meat of when it's time to be a football player in the history of the world. And if they've got the gifts and they've got the will and the work to take advantage of it, they can change their lives, and everybody they love change their lives. The ones that really take advantage of it, I can't tell you how much I admire them as much as anybody else off the field that does well.
Well, I think that is particularly relevant for every team, I'm sure. But Kenny Clark said something about what you were just saying. We need a bunch of dogs on this team, a bunch of guys who truly love and care about football. I'm not talking about the talent part of it. Do you think right now y'all have enough players in that building who are dogs and who truly love football?
You know, this guy right here with the bald head is asking Jerry all these questions. Boy, man, this dude to me is diabolical. And I mean that from this perspective. Man, this dude talks bad about Jerry Jones every opportunity he gets, man. Even James Slater had to take up for Jerry Jones. This dude was saying that he believed that Trevon Diggs was cut because Jerry wants the attention. Bro, that was a Brian Schottenheimer move. I'm telling y'all right now, cutting Trevon Diggs was a Brian Schottenheimer move. That was a culture move. That was absolutely a culture move. This dude here is diabolical, man. Then he boy, he interviews with Jerry like it's no thing. Boy, it's just crazy to me, man.
We have players in that building that, by the fact they're in the building, they're 99% home of being a dog. They are. They've to have gotten there to begin with, they're exceptional. 75,000 players play college football this year. 75,000. We'll put 300 in the draft. And
what up, Quentin Johnson?
In the draft, let's say as many as 100 players. And it will probably be more than that. It'll be 200 or 300 players. I've got my math wrong here, but not much. But it'll be several hundred players. Within 3 or 4 years, there won't be but about 120 of those left out of 75,000 that played college football this year. So it is fleeting. It is a rare person and player that gets to step in there and do it. And I admire them for doing it because they are stepping out and having to really extend to get to do. Talent is not enough. But I admire all these players. I admire everybody all the way to a practice squad player for what they do to be in the NFL. But I also know how lucky they are to get to be here.
Did you get the sense that Trevon Diggs loved football, and did he love the Dallas Cowboys?
Boy, these questions these people be asking, man. These people literally they try to get you to make these headline statements so that they can then take those statements to the media and they go viral because, hey, did you think Trevon Diggs liked football? So what Jerry Post say? No, I don't think he liked football. That's why we got rid of him. Boy, this is diabolical, man. Boy, you want to talk about a setup. Man, you want to talk about a setup.
Listen, I thought Trevon had one of the most impressive beginnings in pro football and with the Cowboys that I've ever been associated with. And I personally think that there's things that Trevon did back when he first came in the NFL that he physically has been compromised with to do. And one of the things he could do is do something similar to what Deion Sanders could do. Deion could make a mistake, or he could bait a player, and then he had the burst to make up for it and go back and make the play and get the ball. And certainly Diggs had that early. He would go be out of position, but not really because he'd intercept the ball. But still, a skilled player, and he was a brilliant athlete, and he was a natural ball hawk. He was like a receiver. He would go.
Now, I don't know if I ever want to mention Trevon Diggs' name in the same conversation and sentence as my man Deion Sanders. man. Hold on a second, man. But I get what he's saying. I do think Trevon Diggs, I still say Trevon Diggs got ball skills. I think what's betraying Trevon Diggs is his legs. I've been saying this. Trevon Diggs' body betrayed him. Trevon Diggs didn't lose instinct. Trevon Diggs didn't lose skill. Trevon Diggs lost his legs. He never was a burner. People got to understand that. He never was a burner. But he still had instinct, and he had enough speed. He had a quick first step. He could turn and run. He had somewhat of a burst. You made a mistake, he'd make you pay for it. And I do think he would play trail technique sometimes on purpose. And when you got a little bit of a pass rush, or when you got a pass rush, you get a quarterback off his mark, and then you're going to throw at Trevon Diggs. Probably going to be a mistake. Because if you're going to throw it up and it's for whoever can go get it, Trevon Diggs, ex-wide receiver, now cornerback, got ball skills, got really good hands. Man, Diggs was nice with it. But, also understand this too about Diggs. Diggs was high reward, high risk. Got burned sometimes too. Didn't always work out. But boy, when it worked with Diggs, Diggs was a monster when it worked. He was a monster when it worked. But the issue is with Diggs right now. Diggs' body has betrayed him. And I don't know if y'all paying attention to something that Jerry Jones is doing, but it's funny to me. Y'all notice Jerry Jones is talking in past tense? Have y'all not noticed that part? Jerry's talking in past tense.
Go to the ball. And that takes just pristine talent and pristine reaction and reflexes. And so consequently, a combination of all of that is the reason we paid him. He deserved to be paid. And that production, injury-wise or otherwise, has fallen off. And there's a lot of reasons for it. But I wish him well.
Tell me what the lies are. Tell me what the lies are. I really think Jerry Jones summed up the Trevon Diggs' career in a nutshell. He exploded onto the scene in the beginning. He showed exceptional ball skills. He showed exceptional instinct. He was an exciting player, a game-changing player, and that's why they paid him. That's what Jerry said. But after the injuries, there it is. That's this part of his career. After the injuries. And I'll tell you right now, Trevon Diggs has wrote a check, and I want to see it cashed. Trevon Diggs said, and I quote, "I'm the best." Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember him saying, "I'm one of the best." Diggs said, "I'm the best." Okay, you wrote that check. All eyes on you. You better get ready. Because I'm going to tell you about people. You still got that quarterback. You still got that Dallas Cowboy residue on you. You go out there and get your socks burned off against the Minnesota Vikings. Them same people who've been saying certain things about you this week, they're going to come back and they're going to destroy you. They're going to come back and destroy Trevon Diggs. We're going to see. We're going to see how he play. But I want to see it. He got 2 games. I want to see him ball out. Ball out against the Minnesota Vikings, and I want to see him ball out against the Chicago Bears. He balls out, the next team he go to, Miss Matrix is getting a jersey for Trevon Diggs. My sister, Miss Matrix, will be getting the Trevon Diggs jersey wherever his next team is. If he balls out over the next 2 weeks, she going to get that jersey. I want to see it. I want to see it. But he's wrote a check now. He wrote a check and he got to cash it. But as far as I can see, man,
Jerry, I feel like if you looked at Schotty's list of things that he wanted to accomplish before the season, establishing his type of culture, and that dog mentality that Kevin was just talking about, that kind of culture in that locker room, build a standard for what he wants from his leaders, the guys that are in that room leading the rest of them and all those others. Do you think he was successful in establishing the culture he wanted this year?
Yes.
Well, I think there was culture. Frankly, Mike McCarthy had a good culture out there, and but we wanted more, and we thought Schotty gave us the opportunity to do it. Now, with that in mind, you've got to with the let's say the right atmosphere. And I like Schotty's atmosphere. It's energetic. It's enthusiastic. It represents an appreciation of everybody getting to be where they are, and that's be a player in the NFL or coaching in the NFL. And I think it bodes well for us this year. I was particularly impressed with how we handled the tragedy that we had among the team. And I was impressed really with how we came out of training camp, made some adjustments, and I really thought there at about the midway point that we were going to have it together and be in a different spot and be in this playoff. And I'm disappointed.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Dominique, I see you said, do I think Jerry cares? This statement right here tells me that Jerry cares. Did y'all notice that he asked Jerry Jones, do you think that Schottenheimer accomplished his culture? Y'all do realize, and I'm gonna hear the rest of it, but this seems like a long answer to a no. It seems like he's saying we're getting there, but we're not there. Because I'm telling you, Jerry is very disappointed. Because as much as we say, hey, Brian Schottenheimer, this is his first time being a head coach. This dude's dad was a head coach. He's 25 years deep in the game. He had a head coach as a defensive coordinator. Jerry's going to take ownership of that. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm telling y'all what Jerry thought. Jerry thought because he gave Brian Schottenheimer George Pickens, because of the emergence of Javonte Williams, because he gave him Tyler Booker, with all of the weapons that he felt like that Brian Schottenheimer had, Jerry Jones did have in his mind that even with a bad defense, that they should be able to outscore teams to beat them. And I'm telling you, Brian Schottenheimer got out-coached at least 6 to 7 times this season. Jerry Jones' mindset, guys, is simple. If your defense is bad, keep your defense off the field. I know we don't like that world, but that was the world we were living in this year. Jerry was saying, keep the defense off the field if they're bad. Keep them off the field. Be a top 3 team in third downs. Be a top 5 team in fourth downs. Don't put yourself in third and longs. Jerry thought that offense was good enough, and I think it is good enough. I think that offense is good enough that we probably should have saw a team probably scoring close to 5,000 points. The Cowboys could have literally been the second coming of the greatest show on turf. Now, I do think one of the places that they did get betrayed, though, was the offensive tackle position. The Cowboys keep on experimenting with this offensive tackle thing, running around here talking about, Tyler Guyton is this. And man, I'm sorry, but Tyler Guyton is not he still needs work. He got hurt this year. He got hurt last year. So now he's going to need more work again coming into this year because he missed valuable snaps this year. So if he's the left tackle next year, y'all better get ready. We're going to be working again on doggone Tyler Guyton. I think the Cowboys need to solve that left tackle situation. And I know some of y'all don't agree with me, but I would move that joker to left tackle. And I don't find it to be strange. The Cowboys already got it worked in this current or the new deal that's coming up. I'd put him at left tackle. I'd find me a left guard. Left guard is easier to find than left tackle. It really is. I'd move Tyler Guyton to right tackle. I think he'd play better at right tackle. Move him over there and move on from Terrence Steele. Move on from Terrence Steele. They got to fix that tackle situation. But Jerry thought his offense was going to be better. And it wasn't.
Those things are a product of everyone. Yours truly leading the pack. And we've got to get in here and make the changes that need to be made as pertaining last year and go forward.
Okay.
I can appreciate Jerry for this. I don't know if y'all caught it. I can appreciate Jerry for this. Jerry didn't even say yes or no. Jerry basically explained no. He didn't say no, but he explained it. He basically explained it. Do you think Schotty succeeded in implementing the culture? Jerry is saying no. Jerry is saying that he went a long way towards doing it, but no. Tatiana, let me tell you something. She said, do you think if Pickens were to leave, it would affect CD? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. CeeDee Lamb needs George Pickens. George Pickens needs CeeDee Lamb. Both of those wide receivers are 1,000-yard wide receivers without each other. They're probably without each other. They're 1,500 to 1,600-yard receivers, 10-plus touchdowns apart. But what we need to be looking at is what they are together. They are 2,600 to 3,300 yards together. 10 and probably 13 to 25 touchdowns together if you can keep both of them healthy and you can really get a feel for how you need to use both of them. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens will be better together next year. What the Cowboys had to work out of Dak Prescott's system, the Cowboys had to work out of Dak Prescott's system that no matter what, I have to force the ball to CeeDee Lamb. They had to work that out of Dak Prescott's system. Dak Prescott trusts George Pickens a lot more now. That Dak Prescott don't mind George Pickens having more yards and more catches than CeeDee Lamb. I'm telling y'all, that took time to work out of Dak Prescott. I'm still not sure he's fully comfortable with it, but that took time. It really did. It took time because Dak Prescott has a great relationship with CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb actually alleviated some of those issues from Dak Prescott because how much he said he wants George Pickens to succeed. So as long as Dak and Brian can continue to work on the balance, these two players need each other if they want Super Bowls. If they want individual accolades, they don't need each other. But if they want Super Bowls, they need each other. CeeDee Lamb would be hurt if George Pickens left. And I'm not sure George Pickens is the same without CeeDee Lamb. You need both of them. You absolutely need both of them. Danny in the crib. What up, Danny? Danny said Diggs going to get burned by the Vikings, G. We're going to see. I want to see it. I want to see it. I mean, Trevon Diggs, man, he going to be one of the biggest stories in football come up in the next 3 weeks. He about to be one of the biggest stories in football. If Trevon Diggs goes out there and gets his toes and feet burned off, everybody's going to say the Green Bay Packers were stupid and they did it for Micah Parsons. Man, if Trevon Diggs goes out there and shuts down Justin Jefferson, gets an interception, a pick six, gets 4 or 5 tackles, go into the Chicago Bears game, pick off Caleb Williams, tackling and doing all kinds of stuff, he's going to be in the news again because people are going to say that he actually fooled the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't even know if he's going to get the notoriety that he wants. I think he's going to even get even more criticism if he goes out there and he looks good. So we'll see how it's going to turn out. But I'm very interested. He wrote that check. I didn't. But Jerry is saying something. Jerry wasn't satisfied. This is why I don't agree with people when they say Jerry don't want to win. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I believe Jerry wants to win his way, but I don't believe Jerry don't want to win. No, I believe Jerry wants to win. Jerry wants to win. He absolutely does. He wants to win. Jerry knows, man, he ain't got time. Jerry ain't got time no more, man. Jerry ain't got another 15 years like he, probably how he saw his outlook when he was looking at these other things. Man, Jerry ain't got this no more. Butter Soft, I appreciate what you said. Dallas was ranked number 4 in possession. What are you talking about? They're number 2 overall in offense. What do you expect them to do? More? What else can I tell you, Butter Soft? More. And understand this. What you're saying is the number 2 overall offense needs context. You do realize that needs context, right? You do realize early on, before teams caught on to before teams caught on to Brian Schottenheimer, they padded, and I don't want to say that in a negative way, but Butter Soft, the Cowboys scored a lot of points in the beginning of the season. They were scoring 40-plus points. They padded some of that against some bad teams early on. You're looking at the front side of the Dallas Cowboys. But you got to look at the Dallas Cowboys in totality. The Dallas Cowboys scored a plethora of points early on when you pay attention. I mean, you think about they scored 24 against the Eagles. Buttersoft, when you look at this, they scored 24 against the Eagles. They scored 40 against the Giants, 14 against the Bears. They scored 40 again against the Packers, 37 against the Jets, they scored 27 against the Carolina Panthers. But look at this, the Washington Commanders, they scored 44 points. Now, let's put something into perspective when you look at those first few games. The Cowboys ran up points, Buttersoft. They ran up points on a bad Giants team. We know the Giants are bad. They didn't score points on a good Bears team that we didn't know was good at the time. They ran up 40 points on a mediocre Packers team. Even with Parsons, they were still mediocre. They were only a half game better than what they were the previous season without Michael Parsons. They ran up 37 points, Buttersoft, on a bad New York Jets team. They got 27 points on the Panthers team that now we realize the Panthers were better than what we thought they were. They ran up 44 points on a bad Commanders team. So when you think about the points the Cowboys scored, when you even think about time of possession with the Dallas Cowboys ran up a lot of points early on. They had some high 30s and some 40-point games. They ran up the score. But when you start getting down to the nitty-gritty, Brian Schottenheimer was getting outcoached week after week after week after week. Why didn't we win the Denver Broncos game? Patrick Surtain II goes out of the game. We don't even attack the backup cornerback. We got outcoached. We know the Broncos are good, but the Cowboys could have beat the Broncos. Explain. How do you score only 17 points against the Arizona Cardinals, Buttersoft? We're the only team that the Cardinals have beaten since whatever week that was. The Arizona Cardinals have not won a single game, and they held Brian Schottenheimer in this high-powered offense to 17 points. No, you gotta add some context when you start talking about these points. I'm not taking away the points, but what I'm telling you is when you're scoring those points against these lackluster teams, they scored 33 points against the Raiders. Well, they should have. They came back against the Eagles. They only scored 24. They scored 31 on the Chiefs, 30 on the Lions. But when you look at that Lions game, the Cowboys absolutely should have scored more than 30, and they needed to score more than 30. Why? Because their defense is bad. And when you start looking at the better teams, what is their time of possession against the better teams? No, the Cowboys were not killing time of possession the way we think throughout the season. We got to understand, man, you can get a lot of stats on bad teams. And when you look at the overall, because this is what happened with Dan Quinn, when you looked at Dan Quinn's defense overall, you would say, man, Dan Quinn must have a really good defense. But when you looked at Dan Quinn, when you start digging into the games with Dan Quinn when he was with the Cowboys, in particular in 2023, you start digging into the games with Dan Quinn, and you will see where Dan Quinn was getting torched in 2023, and we should have already saw it coming. He couldn't stop the run. And so again, as you look at the Cowboys, look at them pretty much down the stretch. The Eagles, 24. Chiefs, 31. 30 against the Lions. 26 against the Vikings. Of course, now I'm kind of rethinking the Vikings because they did a number on the Detroit Lions. But nevertheless, the Cowboys only scored 17 points against the Chargers. They came back against the Commanders. So we really think the Cowboys should have only scored 30 points against the Commanders. When you look at these games in context, and when you look at the weapons the Dallas Cowboys have on offense, they were capable of even more. Yeah, I'm telling you what I wanted, Buttersoft. More. That's exactly what I wanted from the offense. More. And Jerry Jones is saying the same thing. Man, the Cowboys have the best wide receiver duo in football. You have a top 5 quarterback. And really, really, it's a top 3 quarterback. You got one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, you got so many things going on offensively. And you only win 6 games. Against the bad teams, yeah, you're putting up points. But when you're coming up against some of these good teams, you didn't put the points up. You absolutely did not put the points up. And there is no excuse, Buttersoft. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Carolina Panthers, and there is no excuse for the Cowboys to lose to the Arizona Cardinals at home and score their first point in the fourth quarter, and there's absolutely no excuse for the Dallas Cowboys to lose to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care if Brian Flores was bringing some defense from the future. There is no way you're supposed to let them shut you down when you got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. It was a failure. It absolutely was a failure. I don't care what the Minnesota Vikings did. No, the Cowboys were supposed to do more. They were. They were supposed to do more. And that's what Jerry Jones is even alluding to. I expected more. I'm sure he expected more from the defense too. I'm sure he expected more from the defense. Didn't work out. But I'm telling y'all now, if y'all really think that what we saw from this Cowboys offense, if you're satisfied with that, I don't know what to tell you. Them boys should have scored more points. Bottom line, they should have scored more points. The Dallas Cowboys have one of the best offenses in the league, man. They should have, I'm telling you, this offense, if Brian Schottenheimer can tweak his play calling, and if they can just get the defense to mid-pack next season, if the Cowboys can just get the defense hovering around 15 to 20, they will be the second coming of the greatest show on turf. Ryan Flanoy is about to emerge as one of the best third receivers in the game. Man, you got, man, when you think about Lamb, Pickens, Flanoy, Turpin with the speed, man, this doggone team should have been scoring points like a pinball machine. I'm not letting the defense off the hook. Don't get that twisted. I'm not taking the defense off the hook. But how many times in games did we see the Cowboys stalling on third downs? How many times did we see the Cowboys not being aggressive? How many times did we see those things? How many times did we watch Brian Schottenheimer against the better teams get outcoached? How many times did we watch it? Well, I think we watched it at least 6 to 7 times. I mean, I can go back and count the ways. Got outcoached against the Bears. Got outcoached against the Panthers. I don't even understand how you get outcoached against the Arizona Cardinals. Got outcoached against the Denver Broncos without Patrick Surtain on the field. Got outcoached by the Lions. Got outcoached by the Vikings. I mean, got outcoached by the Chargers. We're talking 7 times this season. No, I understand exactly what Jerry is saying. Yeah, I expect more. I expected more. I did. They should have, on principle, they should have won at least a minimum of 2 more games. But they got outcoached. Wet work, what's going on? He says Schotty got flat out coached against Denver, Carolina, Detroit, and the Vikings. Took the words right out of my mouth. And don't forget Arizona. Don't forget Arizona. Wet work. He failed to move GP around. Let's read this some more. Failed to move GP around to combat the defensive teams. Those teams threw at the Cowboys, essentially stalling the offense. Straight up facts. It was Brian Schottenheimer's fault for not moving George Pickens around in the Minnesota game, not moving him around in the Detroit game. That was absolutely Brian Schottenheimer's fault. He pigeonholed George Pickens into 2 routes, comeback route and the doggone slant. That was his fault. Richard Owens said, gee, how come you and all of the football world know that Tyler Smith is the best left tackle on the team, and Schotty doesn't know this? Let me tell you, Richard Owens, it's called Mozzie Smith. And what I mean by it's called Mozzie Smith, the Cowboys will get an idea in their mind, and they want to be right so bad they won't abandon it. We saw it with Mozzie Smith. The Cowboys waited too late to abandon that deal. And so, again, Quentin Johnson, he said, gee, I think the Cowboys could have won at least 4 more games. He said the same thing that Wetwork said, that if they lost, if the defense got some stops, Arizona, Vikings, Detroit, and Carolina. And I say even without stops, you should have beat Arizona and Carolina. Even without stops, you should have beat those 2 teams. And again, you think about the Detroit game. It wasn't just them not getting stops against Detroit. The Cowboys committed a lot of dumb penalties, a lot of unforced errors. They did a lot of this stuff, man. They did a lot of this stuff. And again, butter soft. You got to figure in when you start talking about 29 points a game, you got to figure in those games, they ran up the score against those lesser teams. But when it got to the better teams, they didn't do it. They just didn't do it. Ty Howard, he said, great show last night, G. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. It's up to 4 o'clock in the morning. Man, let me tell you something. As far as the Cowboys' offense go, I ain't trading nobody. They need to leave that offense like it is. They need to continue to work with it. They need to continue to work with it and tweak it. I want them to fix their tackle situation. I also want the Cowboys to fix their running back situation. Javonte Williams is not enough. I want them to keep Javonte Williams. I want them to extend Javonte Williams. But I also want the Cowboys to go into this year's draft and get them a dynamic running back. I want them to get a dynamic running back. I don't want no retread. I don't want no running back out of free agency. I mean, unless you can go trade for Bijan Robinson. I don't want no running back out of nobody else's team. Go in the draft and get you a dynamic running back. A running back that's got vision, a running back that can hit his head on the goalpost. And also, I want you to give Jaden Blue his fair shot and get Phil Maffa on the doggone field. Wetwork says Schotty would be aggressive at times, but too many times he played safe either by running and doing those no-game checkdowns, especially in the red zone. Man, he got too fancy in the red zone too many times. Too many times. Dominique Pittman, he said, explain how do you give up 30 points in dang near every game and then expect the offense to score 40? Easy. Because you got the players to do it. Easy. I'm not telling you have to like it, Dominique. I'm not telling you have to like it. I'm telling you the facts. When you have an offense as high-powered as the Cowboys, there is no way that you should only score 7 points to the Arizona Cardinals. There is no way your offense should only score 7 points in the fourth quarter to the Arizona Cardinals. Man, that in itself is a fireable offense. That in itself is a fireable offense. Matt Eberflus held the Arizona Cardinals to 27 points. It's your offense that couldn't do nothing. There is no excuse for the Cowboys to lose 27-17 to the Arizona Cardinals. That in itself is a fireable. Fireable offense. There's no way, man.
Hey, I'm glad you said that exactly right there, because when you, and I know you look at the entire body of work, we talk about that a lot. You look at the whole season and it's not completely done yet, but when you assess this team, what do you think the differences are between this team and the teams that are heading into the playoffs?
Well, I think, first of all, they were more consistent, and they had a better balance between how they performed offensively and defensively. You hear it all the time. They've got to complement each other. They be in the offense, the defense. It can't be out of sync relative to just be void or be having issues on the other. The competition will sense that and take advantage of it in a minute, and did with us this year. We've done some good things this year, and we've done it the way you have to do it at sometimes, and that's being shorthanded. But everybody gets shorthanded. That's part of the game. And we've done it in some cases. Shorthanded, they come forward and things that excite you because they are young, and you've got to have to put a successful team. As convoluted as it is because it's as multifaceted as it is. Offense, defense, receivers, tackles, guards, blocks, all of those kinds of things that are involved in it. No one coach, in this particular case, Eberflus, should be saddled with, well, the reason we didn't have a better defensive team or defensive statistics was Eberflus. That's not the case. What that defense represents is personnel.
Okay. Jerry may keep us in suspense with the Matt Eberflus thing. He may or may not. But Jerry is just said here, I'm pretty sure some of y'all have already watched this. Jerry is basically saying that it's not Matt Eberflus's fault totally. It's not totally Matt Eberflus's fault that the Cowboys failed defensively. Check it out again.
Should be saddled with, well, the reason we didn't have a better defensive team or defensive statistics was Eberflus. That's not the case. What that defense represents is personnel department. That represents above that my department. Represents everybody involved in contracts. We all take it, and that's no kidding. Because when somebody breaks in there and makes that winning touchdown, everybody associated with this thing should pat themselves on the back and say, I made that touchdown. I did it with my stuff. And that's exactly the way I feel about the defense, and we'll approach it from that standpoint. And I'll assure you, we won't walk in there and say, you know what, Eberflus and this guy over here and this guy over here, let's change that out and it'll all be. Let's go get a Coke and let them think about it. That's not how it works.
Well, speaking of, the personnel, on Tuesday, once again, when you were with the morning show, you talked, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, when the franchise re-signed Dak, y'all were going to keep going for it, keep trying to win games, keep trying to excel in the playoffs. With that in mind, would you guys consider for the next couple of years that Dak's under contract, changing your philosophy and pushing more resources in now for personnel, even if it means leveraging, like, for example, the 2028 cap and beyond, so you can really go for it with this Dak deal?
Well, we did that. We do that by the very nature of re-signing Dak. And we knew we had to have, protection for Dak. We knew we had to have him some receivers out there. Part of that protection goes over the running back. And by the way, while we're at it, we need to give him some field position with defense. Whoops. We slipped this year. We didn't get the defense done. We didn't create the kinds of complementary field position that we needed. But we have, let me say this, we've got, I call it bones, but we've got them in place. I like some of those defensive players that we added during the year. We're going to add more. And we're going to refine what we're doing with our offense. And we've got a good chance to be right there. This is a surprise to me. When I
Jerry is telling us, football fanatic. I'm telling us, Jerry is telling us what he's going to do. Jerry is telling us what he's going to do. He said they're going to refine the offense. What does that mean? The tackle situation. Signing George Pickens. Extending Javonte Williams. I also believe the Cowboys are either going to figure out, either they're going to get Javonte, either get Jaden Blue as their speed running back and their change of pace running back and get Phil Maffa involved, or maybe the Cowboys go and get them a dynamic running back in college. The Cowboys are going to refine that offense. It needs some refining. It absolutely does, because they are too talented not to be scoring a plethora of points. I mean, because, man, the Cowboys are too talented not to put up not to be putting up some of the points they put up in 2023, especially against some of the better teams. But Steve Campanella, he said, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Our offense, when Kellen Moore was here, we were high-powered and we didn't even have a true number 2 receiver. So you tell me we have 2 number 1s in the run game and we struggle. Yeah. And some of it is the tackles were bad. But the part that I struggled with is even when the Cowboys lined up in 11 and 12 personnel, it seemed like they still struggled. I don't understand that part. That's the part that I was kind of struggling with. I was like, what in the world? They're going to refine that. Jerry is also saying they're going to fix the defense. I am going on record as saying 2026 will be the year of the defense. It will be the year of the defense. I believe they spend all of free agency. They're going to spend all of free agency. They're going to be in the trade market. I'm still thinking that even if they don't get Max Crosby, I do believe the Cowboys are going to swing at Max Crosby. Wouldn't be surprised they also bring, if they don't get Max Crosby, I'm not going to be surprised if they bring in Trey Hendrickson. I'm not going to be surprised if they do do that, and then they're going to go in the draft. They got 2 number 1s. They'll probably get the best cornerback or the best safety in the draft, or maybe they get a cornerback and a safety, cornerback and a linebacker. Also won't be surprised if the Cowboys, if that Green Bay pick gets to the number 20 or 19 spot, Cowboys can trade that back and stay in the first round, still have 2 first-rounders, and then get them a second-rounder. I think the Cowboys are going to be willing and dealing, and I do think next year is going to be the year of the defense. And I do believe the Cowboys are going to get them a new DC to go on top of that. And I think they're going to try to bring in a system that I think they're going to bring in a DC, because I do think at this point the Cowboys need to bring in a DC that, hey, okay, can we bring in something to where we can be successful now, and then as we go, we can add to it rather than throwing everything at once. Let's build it block by block. So I do think the Cowboys are going to do that. But a shot. You can't compare Jimmy Johnson. You cannot compare Jimmy Johnson to Schottenheimer in any conversation. And the reason why you can't make this comparison at 1-15, look at the players that Jimmy Johnson had compared to the players that Brian Schottenheimer started with. Jimmy Johnson didn't start with Alvin Harper, Emmitt Smith. He didn't start with them to go along with Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. He didn't start with that offensive line to go along with Troy Aikman. Brian Schottenheimer has a lot of pieces in place that it took Jimmy 2 to 3 seasons in the Herschel Walker trade to get. No, I would dare say that the tandem of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is better than the tandem of Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. Not a one of them is better than Michael Irvin. But I will challenge that George Pickens is better than Alvin Harper, and I believe CeeDee Lamb is better than Alvin Harper. So when I put CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together, they may be a better tandem than those two. Because even when you look at the tandem of Alvin Harper and Michael Irvin ate up most of the yards. They were not really close in yards. Alvin Harper was the deep threat. But when you look at CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, man, they both can do it all. Man, these dudes are Super Bowl level wide receivers. Jimmy did not start with the personnel that Brian Schottenheimer started with. And I'm going to give you another reason why you can't compare Brian Schottenheimer to Jimmy, because Jimmy is a way better, there's just no comparison. But there's another reason why you can't. Brian Schottenheimer is not some young 38-year-old coach. Brian Schottenheimer has been in this league for 25 years. He's 52 years old. He's been an OC or been on dealing with offense for 25 years. I really thought Brian was going to hit the ground running. I really did. But Brian's play calling is the thing that I didn't think to be as poor as it was going to be. Brian Schottenheimer got outcoached a lot. And Jerry Jones is very disappointed in Matt Eberflus. And this is why I think Matt Eberflus is going to be out of here. Matt Eberflus, he's not some young 38-year-old defensive coordinator. This dude got 10 plus years as a coach in this thing. And he's had good defenses. He comes to Dallas and this thing falls apart. Matt Eberflus actually brought 4 of his own staff, or maybe even 5. He brought a part of his own staff over here, and he failed. That's why Matt Eberflus is going to be out of here. Matt Eberflus does not get a pass because of what I'm saying about Brian Schottenheimer. But the Pro Bowl says it all. How many Pro Bowl players does Matt Eberflus have on defense versus Brian Schottenheimer? We got to be truthful about Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, I think he's got a problem connecting, and I think he's got a problem connecting with players. I think he has a problem with that, and whether he realizes it or not. I also think his system requires, man, I'm just sorry. I just think his system requires certain types of players, and we didn't have them. But his knock on him is he didn't make the adjustments to the players that he had, and for me, that's why he has to go. No, Matt Eberflus doesn't get a pass, even with all of the legitimate reasons of, man, the dude really don't have the players, man. Name me any of the players on our team that other players will want. Trevon Diggs, we already understand that. Name anybody else in our secondary that any other team would really want. Man, you can't win with them players that Matt Eberflus. I think you could. We saw those players with Mike Zimmer. We saw some of those players with Mike Zimmer. And we were barely any better. We were just better bad. But no, I'm not giving Matt Eberflus a pass. But 2 things can be true. Matt Eberflus's defense was terrible. But that is no excuse for Brian Schottenheimer to get out-coached in at least 7 games. And especially when you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, there is no explanation. There is no explanation. They haven't beat a team since they beat us. There is no explanation for that. There is no way you're supposed to allow the Arizona Cardinals to hold those 2 wide receivers. That is absolutely insane. There's no way. There's no way. There is no way. They have not beat no other team. In giving up 27 points, you couldn't outscore the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals actually scored 27 points because the Cowboys couldn't score points. There are no variables there, Buttershot. I'm not agreeing with you. There's no variables there. There is no season you should let a team like the Arizona Cardinals hold you to 17 points and you score your first touchdown on offense in the 4th quarter. There's no way. And Jerry Jones is exactly right. Stats don't tell the whole story. That offense, as good as it was, that offense could have been way better because they have the personnel.
Signed Dak, I didn't expect for us not to be in the playoffs the last 2 years. And so we'll make those kinds of adjustments that'll give us the best shot at the playoffs. And we can't be timid about it. They aren't just subtle little adjustments. We'll have to do some things that, as they say, put your head between your legs and prepare for some rough landings.
Jerry, Troy Aikman's reportedly consulting to help Miami find a new general manager. How much of an impact does Troy's word have in the NFL?
Well, again, you're talking to the wrong person because
Lock and D, we've been saying this, and I agree with it. Jerry's about to go all in. No doubt about it. Lock and D, you're right, man. Jerry, this isn't 2010. Jerry is understanding that he might not be here in 2030. Jerry ain't trying to wait to 2030 to get no Super Bowl, man. Jerry ain't trying to wait to 2030. Jerry is trying to get now. And next year, I think Jerry's going to try to get it.
Troy Aikman is associated with my time in the NFL. And so I hardly know how to say NFL without saying Troy. And I'm so proud of him, proud of what he did for the Cowboys, proud of what he is in the NFL. And he's had a great career no matter how you count it. And so I've always appreciated him, having him on my side. our side. Obviously, he has to have an even hand where he is right now, and his job is broadcasting.
Yeah, because he ain't leaving that job.
I would say that he certainly is capable of helping any team with in whatever capacity he is. Wouldn't surprise me if he decided to come back and play like what's his name did this past 2 or 3
Rivers.
weeks. That he could step out there and do it. Now that wouldn't surprise me at all if Troy Aikman said it's the case.
Now,
Surprised me. No, that surprised me, but not surprised me that he could do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. He's got that toughness, that competitiveness. Now, one of the things that you frequently said on our show, and it's come up a lot this year as well, is this show is your opportunity to speak to the fans. This is our last chance to talk with you this season. And what I really want to know is not just what you would say to the fans, because you started to talk about that on Tuesday, but what would be your reaction and what would be your message to the fans out there who are concerned that they don't think that you and Steven and this front office are the group to turn this Cowboys team around?
Well, I used this analogy on the other day when I was asked a pretty similar question, and it reminds me of the old gold miner out in the 49er days of the gold rush of San Francisco. And that old broken down gold miner, he's got a bad back. His hands are got so much arthritis to him from swinging that pick. And he's sitting out there and he's just picking on rock and nothing's happening. But the most sure way for nothing to happen is for him to quit picking. And so you keep swinging the pick. Now, from the day that we've become involved here, we've said we're going to swing the pick. And so that hadn't changed. But we're sure not going to quit, and I'll assure you that I've been in many things in my life, including times with the Cowboys, that type of persistence breeds the kind of results our fan wants, and that's a winning football team.
You know, I'm really glad that you used that analogy. I heard that analogy the other day, and one of the things I thought about that, I consider myself a little bit of a student of history as well. Isn't another lesson from that gold rush is that people adapted with the times and used different technology and everything and didn't just keep swinging that pick as a way to make money?
Well, I will tell you that if you look at the Cowboys and you frankly look at Schottenheimer, and you look at what Schottenheimer's doing with the offense, how'd you like that change? Well, we did it with the same Schottenheimer there as from the last year and the year before. And that offense changed, and look at the production we got this year. There were a couple little subtle features. We had Dak most of the year rather than not having Dak. But other than that, and I'm smiling when I say that. But the point is that it's within the purview, it's within the scope of information that the changes can get the job done as far as doing it different ways, new ways. I've pretty much been working for myself personally all my life, and since we are talking about the Cowboys now and got me on the phone, I guess I can talk a little about my own background. And I have changed so many times, so many ways. I'm going in the opposite direction from where I was going 5 years earlier. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with saying go in a different direction.
Well, we appreciate the time, the info, everything along the way. Love talking with you every Friday, and we hope to catch up with you sooner rather than later.
This is what I want to encourage us with as just, you know, as human beings and things of that nature. One of the things, you know, always allow somebody the ability to change. And I really think the Cowboys went a long way towards doing some things this year. I mean, the Cowboys, I think they kind of warmed themselves up for what they're going to do next year. The Cowboys were very active in free agency. I do think one of the mistakes that they made, Dominique Pittman kind of mentioned this, and I don't think they're going to do this the next coming season, is that if you really want to improve your team, you got to make sure that you got to understand that you can't shop at the Dollar Tree. And I agree with you on that, Dominic Pittman. You cannot shop at the Dollar Tree. You cannot expect Super Bowl caliber players, playoff caliber players, getting players who are castaways from other teams. Stop trying to be the smartest person in the room, going and getting that X first round draft pick. Stop extending players that are injured. Don't sign another player that's injured out of college. Don't do any of those things. Man, sometimes you just got to go out there and get what is more than likely a surefire, bona fide player that's going to be a dog. I mean, you really got to do those things. And I really think the Cowboys this year, I think they did a great job last year, especially at the trade deadline, some things the Cowboys didn't do, and I kind of figured they were going to do that. That was something they hadn't done good in previous years. Quinnen Williams, we're going to find out over the next season, in the next 2 seasons, that Quinnen Williams is one of the greatest pieces the Cowboys got on defense, and we're going to figure out that George Pickens is one of the greatest additions the Cowboys made on offense. The Cowboys are going to continue to build around those two, what they did with those 2 players, and they're going to get it done. I got full confidence they are going to get it done. I do. I believe the Cowboys are going to get it done. I do. I think they're going to try again. I think they're going to try to make that run. I think they're going to try to make that run at Crosby. I think they're going to try to either make the run at Crosby. They'll either try to make a run at Trey Hendrickson possibly too. Wouldn't be surprised if they go in the draft. It's all going to depend who's on the board when the Cowboys come up for their first draft. They're either going to get the top edge and I don't want them to get an edge rusher. Donovan Ezaraku, I think, I think you call him more of an edge rusher. He's still kind of an undersized defensive end. I want the Cowboys, if they don't get Max Crosby, go out there and get you a true defensive end, man. Get you the best pass rushing defensive end in the game in college football. Your second pick, go out there and get the best corner or the best safety in football, in college football. Go get the kid from Ohio State with the second one. But the Cowboys, man, they really got a hit on this draft, and I think they need another major piece. I think they need another major piece in free agency. And it's got to be, and even if it's at those positions that I just mentioned, edge, defensive end, /defensive end, linebacker, defensive back, and I'm including safety and cornerback in that. But the Cowboys, man, they really got to go out there and do it. Let's go and look at the kind of looking at the draft and kind of see kind of what they have going on right now. Let's kind of take a sneak peek over here on Tankatron and kind of see, as we're kind of talking about players, and let's kind of look at what they're kind of projecting is who's going where. Fernando Mendoza, I mean, everybody pretty much believes that he's going to go to the Giants. Let's see here. Let's get to our Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are probably going to be somewhere around here. So it looks like people have the Cowboys getting Jermod McCoy from the Tennessee, And then with the second pick, it looks like they got the Cowboys getting the edge from Clemson, TJ Parker. Y'all tell me what y'all think on that. I don't watch college football like a lot of people do, but this is where they have the Cowboys doing. TJ Parker, Jermod McCoy. Yeah, that's where they have the Cowboys. That's what they have the Cowboys doing. I heard somebody mention Ruben Bain out of one of the Miami edges. Ruben Bain is already projected to go number 4. I see Spencer Fano, offensive tackle to the Arizona Cardinals. Caleb Downs going to the Washington Commanders. Caleb Downs is the safety that everybody keeps talking about from the Ohio State. Jeremiah Love. Man, let me tell you something. Boy, if Jeremiah Love could make it past these teams, man, if I'm the Cowboys, I would have to get this dude, Jeremiah Love. This dude is going to be a monster in this league. Looks like there's another really good edge going before the Cowboys in David Bailey. Any of these names sound familiar to y'all, let me know. Again, the edge from Clemson, y'all let me know, what do y'all think about him? I see an offensive tackle, Caden Proctor. I see another edge, Cassius Howell. I'll be once the season is over and as we get deeper into the next season, as the season gets ready to begin, I'll be looking at a lot of these players. Let's see, round 2. We're not in round 2, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, we're not in round 2. The Jets got our round 2. I really do believe the Cowboys may actually wind up trading that Green Bay first round pick, and the Cowboys might try to get back into the second round and stay in the first round. Still keep 2 first round draft picks, but but also get back in the second round. Or they could trade that first round draft pick and get 2 number 2s. I know some of y'all are against that, but I do think it would be good if the Cowboys could get more picks. Looks like in the 4th round, they're talking about Xavier Chaplin. So we'll be talking about this as we continue to go on. But I do think the Cowboys. I do think the Cowboys are going to. Next year is going to be the year of the defense. It's going to be the year of the defense. Yeah, Dominic Pittman, I agree with you. You can't will and deal at the Dollar General. Cowboys going to have to go spend that money, man. They're just going to have to get creative with that doggone salary cap, and they're just going to have to say, no, don't even worry about 2028 and beyond. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm literally only going to focus on 2 years. I'm only focusing on 26 and 27. That's all I'm focusing on. That's all I'm focusing on. I'm only focusing on 26 and 27, nothing else. Nothing else. Yeah, Tatiana, no more washed up players. We don't need no more washed up players, no more retreads, nothing. We need to really get it going. Yeah, Mark Vasquez, Jimmy started with less talent. Yeah. Herschel Walker changed the Cowboys. Herschel Walker changed the Cowboys. That trade changed the Cowboys, not to mention they were playing under a non-salary cap. Jimmy started with way less than what Brian has started with. Man, Brian should be thanking God every single night. There are not very many first-year coaches that gets as many weapons as what Brian Schottenheimer has. And I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing I really think that Brian Schottenheimer has working against him. I really think the biggest thing he has working against him is how successful Ben Johnson has been. I think Ben Johnson is not only a knock on Brian Schottenheimer. I think Ben Johnson is a knock on Jerry Jones. And the reason why I think Ben Johnson is a knock on Jerry Jones is that Jerry Jones won't spend the money on his coaches. Man, spend the money on your coaches, man. Coaches matter. Spend money on coaches. Don't bargain shop on your coaches either. This is a part that people don't talk about with the Cowboys. The Cowboys bargain shop on their coaches. They need to stop bargain shopping on coaches too. Even though they're paying Matt Eberflus pretty good, but they're definitely saving money on Brian Schottenheimer. But what Brian Schottenheimer's got to do is that Brian Schottenheimer this next coming season, Brian Schottenheimer's got to come out and show the Dallas Cowboys that he's worth more than what they're paying him. Schotty's got to show next year. He's got to make a huge step because Schotty is benefiting from Jerry Jones is in that mindset of where he was when he got Jimmy Johnson. Jerry wants to win now. Jerry wants to win now. And so because Jerry wants to win now, there's a lot more expectations on Brian Schottenheimer than it was on the previous coaches. Now, Jerry wants to win now, and he's gonna, and that's what he wants to do. So, all right, guys, we're getting ready. Let's get a couple of player interviews before we get out of here. Let's get a couple of player interviews. I want to check out Dak Prescott and what he's been talking about. I want to hear Dak Prescott. I want to see if we can get in Kenny Clark. And I noticed something too. You know, when you start looking at these player interviews, I want y'all to pay attention to these player interviews. And this is after they've gotten rid of Trevon Diggs.
After you guys traded to acquire him, just the quickness in which you guys got a chemistry, the brotherhood that you guys established, and now he's on the verge of joining only CD and Michael Irvin in a category of 95 catches and 1,500 receiving yards. Just talk about the year you guys have had with him and just the impact he's had.
Yeah, he's had a huge impact. I mean, go back and right to when we made the trade. That was a position and a place that we know we needed help in, right? We had a guy like CD. We've got a guy like CD who, you know, over the past couple of years, everybody knew that the ball was going to CD, and we're trying to get it there. And so, just trying to get help for him. We landed George, and I don't think anybody could imagine the amount of help that he's been and how great of a player that he's just stepped in and been from day one. You asking how did the chemistry form, the type of player that he is, and when he gets out there on the field, he wants to win every route. He's competitive, and he's a student of the game. He loves football. Like, he loves football. I remember one of our first conversations was talking about my time at Mississippi State, him naming teammates, and just right then, you know, he knows the history and he appreciates the game. And it's been a fun year, and as I've stated before, the importance would be making sure that we can keep him long term and doing whatever's necessary there. But credit him for a great season, and he's been huge help.
Schotty and Jerry consistently saying you're going to start now. I'm assuming you know that you're going to start. Is it a different mindset knowing you're going to start, but you may not go the whole way?
Some extent, yeah. I'd be lying if I would say if I say it's not, you know, oh, it's exactly the same. No, there's a little bit to it.
Dak, no, he ain't playing this whole game.
So for me, it's about going out there and plan to play the whole game. Just stick to the way that I play the game. I'm not going to try to do too much early and make some big plays so I can get out of the game. And you know, if he said, you know, 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns or this score, you're coming out, that may put a little bit of pressure, right? And me try to do that, but me not knowing when it is and if it is, just go in and play my game and be smart.
What do you want to see from Joe, assuming he does get significant playing time?
Yeah, just command. From the moment he takes the field, just him commanding the huddle. All the pre-snap, everything, just want to be super clean pre-snap and then just come out of this game happy with the performance that he put on from himself. And I think if he's he plays the game, the middle side of the game, and he's locked in, has all of his checks. He's been doing great in all of his reads, and he's been developing all year long. So, no, he's gonna go out there and have a great game. I just want him to be happy with his performance.
You guys have gone through a lot this year, trades, losing Marshawn. How do you think Schotty?
Dominique Pippen, boy, Lock D done one-upped you. Dominique Pittman said you can't be willing to dealing at the Dollar Tree. Lock and D said Amazon shopping. Boy, Mr. Dog, let me tell you something. I think Jerry's not going to have any choice but to fire Matt Eberflus, and he knows it. Even if Jerry doesn't want to fire Matt Eberflus, Mr. Dogs, he's going to have to do it. One thing I can tell you that I've been noticing about Jerry Jones this past season, more than we've seen him in the past. Jerry is watching the way fans are responding. Jerry understands this. Jerry, on principle, knows he's not going to be able to keep Matt Eberflus. Jerry knows he's not going to be able to keep Matt Eberflus. You know what? I'll be shocked if he doesn't fire Matt Eberflus. I'll be shocked if he doesn't fire him. I will. I'll be shocked if he doesn't fire him. Because Jerry knows that the fan base has lost all patience with Matt Eberflus. And if Jerry is smart, the same situation that we're watching right now, it's the same situation that happened in the Chicago Bears. They were already mumbling and grumbling against Matt Eberflus. They were already mumbling and grumbling. But the ownership thought if they just brought him back the next year and give him one more year, maybe they could smooth things out. And it did not work. It did not work. I don't think Jerry's going to take that chance. I don't think he's going to take that chance this year. They're going to get somebody else over. They're going to get somebody else over Matt Eberflus. But the issue is they don't need to just get rid of Matt Eberflus to please the fans. They truly, if they're going to get rid of Matt Eberflus, they need to go out there and get them a very good, innovative, dynamic defensive coordinator. I'll put a couple of options up here in a moment.
It's kind of helping you guys get through all this.
Yeah, Schotty's been key. He's first and foremost just genuine and real and raw through it all. Whether it's been the trades earlier, whether it's been losing Marshawn, just showing his emotions, being vulnerable, but also like holding those conversations. Being accountable to the time of him. Adding brotherhood breakfast or just being conscious of giving us more time to have meaningful and conversations with substance. And so he's been a key to keeping this thing together. Honestly, in a year, it's been everything, as you just said, right from the trades to losing Marshawn to win 3, lose 3 to trading or releasing an elite cornerback in this league, right? Like there's a lot that's happened in an organization that's on the forefront, and he's done a good job of staying the same man and being the same man throughout. And I think that's why guys follow, and that makes it easy too.
As a veteran guy, because you've seen a lot, how much you appreciate that you've got a young coach, but he's been around a little bit, that he's able to, what you said, keep everybody together.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. I mean, you say young coach, but the more time you spend around Schotty, you don't get that feel of a young coach. You get the feel of a guy who's been in it his whole life. And so, being a first-year coach, first-time head coach, he's done a great job.
Patrick mentioned a milestone possibly for George. Of course, you're leading in passing. How mindful are you and the staff of some of these milestones entering the final game, and is there a balance in trying to reach those and within the context of the game plan and what the defense is presenting?
I didn't know the George. Know the passing yards. It'd be cool to stamp that at just lead the league in passing. Thinks Matt needs to rest. Matt Stafford probably needs to rest this week. Get ready for the playoffs. That would help. It would be cool, but I'm playing the game. I'm not going to try to chase it. I'm not going out there, let me throw it every time. No, it may actually be opposite of that, right? Just trying to play a smart game, clean game, most importantly, get a win. The records will come if they come.
There's a clip from a few years back with Gronkowski on the sideline with Tom Brady telling Tom, hey, I need one more touchdown. It was like $1 million bonus or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys ever...
I'd press for that one, fan. Yeah, CD or George tell me that? Yeah, I'll get you that one.
Has it ever happened up to this point, though, during a game where someone told you, hey, late in the season, this guy needs this or something like that?
I think the only two I think I've been aware of was Rico at one point, right? Rico needed, I don't even know what it was, and I think we made sure he got that. And then Cole Beasley, I believe my rookie year, it was so many catches, and he got a big bonus. And so we were conscious of that as a team and went in and made sure he got that, but only those two.
Dak, in your career, going back to early in your career, you played with a couple guys that will be in the Hall of Fame one day. Earlier this week, Jason Witten is now one of 15 finalists for a gold jacket. Can you just talk about what he meant to you early in your career and how much he helped you grow in this league?
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame tight end, finalist, and whether it's in this year or next or whenever it is, he'll be in. And elite player, just a guy, when I first came in being a Cowboys fan and being a fan of the organization and Witten, those guys, you're going to watch everything that he does. And I will say, from the time that I got in and the time that he retired, I tried to do everything that he did. I tried to beat Witt to work. I was staying as late as he was or wait until he left and then I'd leave. To just the way that he handled his body. You're talking about getting hurt and never missing games and times and doing everything necessary there. And then just being a great teammate and helping a young guy like myself or young tight ends and never dropping the standard. I'll never forget, I'm sure you all know, right, the pat and go, my first pat and go throw to him. He runs, and if he sticks his arms all the way out, he catches it. But instead, he just right here and lets the ball drop. And he was telling me the standard's right here, right? And he laughed at me like, come on, Rook, throw a better ball. And it's like, geez, dude. But that just showed me, right, that was his standard. And he showed me that at the first interaction I had with him. And it's something that I've just held to. And an elite man, elite player, somebody super blessed that I was fortunate to play with.
What did you learn about him from team over everything? He was very close to Romo, but he was publicly co-signed you being the quarterback your rookie year, and it was about what was best for the team.
Oh, great question. One more time, the beginning of it?
Team over everything. I mean,
Got your team over.
He was very close to Romo.
Yeah, no, that was real. That was real. And honestly, that moment is probably week 7 or so, or I don't know, halfway through that season. Yeah. I realized that, like, yeah, what's on my bandwagon. He's got my back, right? And to understand how close that relationship was, it was weird to an extent. But to your point, yeah, it showed me team is what's important. At the end of the day, like, it's team over self, it's team over everything. And whatever's best for this team, whatever puts this team in the best situation, you've got to put your mind on that, and you've got to do everything you can to help the team push that. And that's what Witt did. And, yeah, once again, one of those things as well. I'll mimic them as long as I can.
Have you missed a pat and go throw?
No.
Given your success in talking with Jerry Jones about contracts and seeing what happened with Micah this past year, what is your advice to George Pickens as he enters, free agency for the first time after this week?
I'll give it to George. And one, just don't let it get personal. At the end of the day, this is business. Both sides are going to want negotiations. I mean, honestly, me and Jerry's wasn't pretty at all, right? And wasn't talking to him for some time. And I remember I went and signed, and we went in there, and he told me that, right? Like, when two sides are trying to agree, you're not going to want to see each other's differences, right? Or you can't see each other's differences. And but the moment you get to a contract, you shake hands, and you got to let all that go. And we did that. And so it's the same mindset going into these things. Like, things are going to come up. Things aren't going to sit right. You're going to feel slighted when they give you $1 million or $2 million less than whatever you said. And it's just the business. Play the game, play back. But don't let it get personal.
Have you come to terms with not being in the playoffs and just focusing on momentum for next year?
Yeah. I've had a couple of weeks now.
What choice does he have?
Those things you mentioned that have gone on this year, Doc, what's it like for a star quarterback who leads the way you do to deal with the season with so many things that have gone on?
It's frustrating, tough at times, definitely was, whether it being early. Obviously, the toughest time was losing Marshawn and wanting to, speak up but not have the words. And, me, I always ask for help, right? Losing a brother, but I'm not the doctorate. I don't have all the answers, right? And so in times like that, it was tough. And I knew what was best is for me to just have real conversations and be myself, and more than anything, show guys how to move forward. And just right through the losses I've had, and including Marshawn, the only way I can do that is through action. And every day when I wake up is just trying to be an example. And so that was probably the most challenging. And then being in a year where I can't say or probably one of the first times that my play hadn't directly, or I felt correlated to the record and/or making the playoffs. It's been tough, but it just goes back to the Witt, team over self, and it goes back to me just as a leader trying to figure out ways to influence other guys in the locker room, not just on offense but on defense, and influence everything from the way that they approach the game, the way that they treat life at home, and just letting them know how important all that is. And it goes hand in hand when you're trying to be the best player on the field.
How much more down the road will you guys be in year 2 of Schotty? That everybody knows what he wants, the expectations, all that, standards, all that.
How far down?
Yeah,
I mean, I expect to go pretty far down. Yeah, I mean, we've had a good year 1 under our belt. We know kind of what we want. We know what we want to do. We know how we want to attack. I'm pretty sure we can get into this offseason and figure out, these were our weaknesses. We need to get better here and create some more strengths there. But we should definitely be able to take a big jump, and that's one of the keys in talking about momentum and using these last couple of games for the offseason.
And how about with Clayton Adams too? He's had a full year as being an OC, right?
Well, yeah, and he's had a full year of getting to know these players. It's one thing to, you come in, you've watched this team, you feel like you understand what they're good at, but to actually now be around them for a whole full year, watch them in practice, and understand where each guy up front's best at and what position he can put them in, whether it be gaps, zones, outs, whatever it be, turn schemes, and find something else that we're really good in and add it to the bucket.
Obviously, this offense has been really productive this year. You've been productive as a passer. Does it kind of excite you that there was some meat left on the bones for some
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000% it does. And that's where it goes when I say getting to the offseason and looking at where our weaknesses are and where we can get better. And sometimes if it's just simple as effort and pointing out the effort on the tape and saying, hey, if you'd have done this or this, watch this simple play and look where it would have went, right? And that's just us taking that next step, and it takes everybody having the same mindset of team over self.
What part of the offense do you feel like the most meat was left?
See, Dak Prescott is saying the same thing that I said earlier. We don't need to get caught up in the fact that the Cowboys was the top scoring team or, top 2 overall offense. No, don't get caught up in that. Because if you go back and look at some of the games, you'll be disappointed. Go back and look at that season and say, what we did, we could have did better. The Cowboys on offense can be absolutely better. Imagine if the Cowboys left tackle and right tackle were better. Just imagine that. If they were better at left and right tackle, just put that in your mind. Imagine if Ferguson would have been better. Imagine had they had Ryan Flanoy playing the primary third receiver spot all season rather than that experiment with Kevontae Turpin. Imagine all those things had they got George Pickens involved earlier, had they had George Pickens running the multiple route trees earlier. Imagine what the Cowboys could have been. Imagine had they given Brevin Spanford more snaps earlier. You got to think about those things. What happened if they would have played Jaden Blue? What happened if they'd have played Phil Maffa? The Cowboys can be better. You never look at the fact and go, yeah, we were the number 2 overall offense, and go, yeah, we did good enough. We should have won more games. No, you go back and say, man, we left some meat on the bone. Had we done this and had we done that, we could have scored a touchdown there rather than a field goal. We could have kept drives going here and there. We could have done better we could have did better in the red zone had we did this. They need to go back and do all of those things, and don't go into no doggone offseason talking about, yeah, man, had the defense been better and had the defense been better. No, don't go into no doggone offseason like that. You go into the offseason understanding the offense is the strength of this team until you understand otherwise, until you see otherwise, until they go and get a show enough defense. Until they do that, understand your assignment. We must carry this team until the defense gets right. That it is what it is, whether we like it or not. Understand your assignment, man. Understand your assignment. The Cowboys are going to be better next year. I'm confident they're going to be better next year.
Oh, good. Oh, good. It's a good question. Probably just like a quick game, and that comes from. Yeah, it comes from a lot of different maybe reasons, and I can't give that answer until I go back and watch the film this offseason and dial all those different areas you're talking about or different schemes up. But probably quick game.
Second half scoring, last part of the year, has that been?
Yeah, actually, that's where I'm gonna go.
I mean, think about all of these things they're talking about. If the Cowboys scored, just imagine this. How many more games do the Cowboys win if they just score 10 more points in the second half of these? If you look at these games, if the Cowboys were to just score 10 extra points in the second half, how many more games do you think they win? You can't go into the season blaming the defense, saying had the defense been better. That goes without saying if the defense had been better. But don't just point the finger at the defense. You should go into the offseason saying, man, if we did all of this and we were not hitting on all cylinders, let's start hitting on all cylinders. Let's be the second coming of the greatest team on turf. The Cowboys have the firepower to do it. They absolutely have the firepower to do it. Jaden Justin. Oh no, they definitely not fooling me, Jaden Justin. Money is not going to be a problem for the Cowboys. The salary cap is a myth. The Cowboys can work through that salary cap, no problem. They've already got those mechanisms in these players' contract. Flip the switches and free up all kinds of money. Yeah, LaQueen. Dak has a cold. You can hear it in his voice. Queen, I'm hearing it is going to be extremely cold in New York. I got a strange feeling I got a strange feeling, man, Dak ain't gonna be playing long. I got a strange feeling that Dak ain't gonna be playing wrong. Lolo said, gee, I want to say I appreciate your content mixing with your faith in your unique way. I love Jesus, my family, Cowboys in that order. Keep up the good work. Yeah. Appreciate you too for the support. Big Rombowski. If Flus isn't fired on Black Monday, then I'll be leaning on him returning next season. I doubt Flus only signed a 1-year deal, and Jerry doesn't like paying coaches to sit on their coach and sit at home. You know what? I'm not gonna go Black Monday. I'll give it by the second week. I say if he's not fired by the end of January, there may be problems. There may be problems. I'll say that for sure. Star Guardian X. Appreciate that super chat. Star Guardian X said, Jerry, stop trying to buy a Lamborghini or Kia. Man, yeah. Man, you going to go, man. I said it last year. I'm going to say it again. You gotta spin to win. Bottom line. If you can't draft them, trade for them. It's that simple. Big D's, I hope they let Flus get his own defensive coordinator. I really do. Albert Donaldson, what's going on? Yeah, we're live. I hope they let him. Happy New Year to you, Albert. Good to see you, man. To you and your family, too. I hope they let Brian pick his own DC. Hoodie Kush in the building. What up with you? Yeah, Dak Prescott wants George Pickens back at all costs. He wants George Pickens back. Dak Prescott loves having the luxury of having 2 number ones. He loves it. He loves it. And I guarantee he's going to let it be known too. Jeremy said he's even speaking up for Pickens. He said multiple times he'd like to bring him back, but he's letting Pickens know not to get emotional and take it personal during the business negotiations. I'm going to tell y'all something about George Pickens. I'm going to tell y'all why I appreciate George Pickens so much this year. Everybody was wanting George Pickens to fail. Old school. Happy New Year. What's going on? Everybody was wanting George Pickens to fail. They were looking for the crash out. They were looking for all the craziness. Yeah, he had a little bit of a blip, but it wasn't a crash out. George Pickens has been the model season. The model citizen. He's had a couple of blips. Model citizen. Look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers are dealing with DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf don't have the production, nor has he been nowhere near as good as George Pickens. Proud of George Pickens, man. Proud of this dude. I just want him. I just want this young man to continue. I just want him to continue. Old school, yes sir. Looking forward to our Cowboys finishing strong on Sunday. Looks like they're going to try to do it too. And I got a strange feeling though Dak is not going to play. Dak is not going to play that whole game. I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm preparing for this game to go either way with the Cowboys. Because, you know what, man, let me stop fooling myself. Man, Giants ain't trying to win this game, man. Let me tell y'all something. Let me give y'all the number one reason. Why the Giants are not trying to win this game. Can I give y'all the number one reason? This is the number one reason the New York Giants are not trying to win this game. I don't believe the New York Giants want to go to the number 3 or risk. I don't think they want to risk anything. And I don't know these teams' records right off the rip. But I'm telling you this. Let me look here real quick. I don't know what the Jets' record is. Let's see. The New York Jets are 3-13. Man, I'm telling you now, the Giants don't want to win this game. The Giants don't want to win this game. They're going to play the Cowboys good, I believe, in the first quarter. They're not going to try to win this game. The Giants are all these guys, the Giants and the Raiders both, they have been sitting players left and right. Right now, this league may have the league may actually the league may actually wind up finding the Las Vegas Raiders because they tried to put Max Crosby on injured reserve, and Max Crosby said he wasn't doing it and left the building. He said he wasn't doing it. He wanted to play the last 2 games of the season. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. So, man, Giants ain't gonna try to win this game. Giants ain't gonna try to win this game, man. They're not gonna try to win. The Cowboys should be able to win this game, even with Joe Milton and playing with Tolbert, Mingo. You know, you'll probably see Tolbert, Mingo, Bass, Brock Hoffman. You're going to see a lot of these backup players playing for the Cowboys this coming Sunday. I seen some people asking who going to be at cornerback for the Cowboys. Man, Cowboys ain't really caring who going to be at cornerback. I truly think they're going to. I truly think they feel like they can go ahead and beat the Giants no matter what they got back there on the back end. So I'm not really worried about the Cowboys winning this because I don't think the Giants is going to try to win it. The number one reason why the Giants are going to lose this game and try to lose this game is because they still want to have that number 2 draft pick. And I'll tell you this, they also want an opportunity at that number 1 draft pick. Man, you never know. Man, Raiders mess around and win this game. Shoot. Man, New York Giants get the number 1 pick. Man, you can pick up an extra pick if you wind up being the number 1 pick. Because the New York Giants, they feel like they have their quarterback, so they don't want Fernando Mendoza. They get the number 1 pick. They can trade back to number 2 and 3 and pick up another team's first-round pick in the next season. Oh, no. Giants ain't going to try to win this game. And they're not doing it. The Giants are not going to try and win this game. Y'all book it. Y'all watch what I tell you. R.T. Holman, appreciate that super chat. He said draft a defensive back, safety first. Defensive back with who's great at man coverage. Get a defensive end and a linebacker. Get a DC who will and can make in-game adjustments. Yes, sir. Lashley. Dez caught it. Thanks, G. Yes, sir. Dez caught it. Mr. Take Your... I'm going to call you Mr. Take Your Girl. Mr. Take Your Girl, he said, to be honest, Cowboy fans, if we had did better on offense this year by scoring more points, I still would have not wanted to make the playoffs with these players we have on defense. Mr. Take Your Girl, the only reason I would have wanted to still make the playoffs, I would have wanted to make the playoffs just for the experience for some of the players. And really to give them something to build upon. Man, we made the playoffs and we can build on it. I would rather be building on going to the playoffs than building on having an 8-1 season. Not really feeling that. But I can understand why they're doing it. I'm not mad at them for wanting to win. Football Fanatic said Jerry needs to get his head out of his butt and wake up during free agency. Howie Roseman is working Jerry. Yeah, I'm telling you, they did it last year, but I think they did too much bargain shopping. You got to do some bargain shopping in free agency. You have to do some bargain shopping. I think the Cowboys got George Pickens. They got George Pickens and like, hey, that's the pick that we need. That's the trade that we needed. But I also think they put too much stock into Kenneth Murray, which I don't understand. Ron Bowski said, I don't know, G. After watching this in-season Hard Knocks on HBO, it doesn't seem like Jackson Dart has got much of an off switch. Oh yeah, he gonna play. Yeah, he gonna play. I think he's gonna play pretty good. But I still say the Giants are gonna try to do everything they can do to sabotage him. I think they're gonna try to do everything they can do to sabotage him. I don't think they want to win. Cause man, you mess around and you get that number 1 pick with Fernando Mendoza on that doggone board. Man, let me tell you something. Boy, you get a lot of options. I mean, if you're the Giants, you get a lot of options. Man, you could trade Jackson Dart. I mean, you could trade Dart and keep Fernando Mendoza if you're the Giants. I mean, man, you got a lot of options. You mess around and get that number 1. Now, they don't want to win it. They don't want to win that game. I got a feeling they don't want to win that game. Rumbowski, he said, if New York Giants win and fall to number 3, it won't matter because I doubt they would be taking another quarterback, so there isn't much motivation for them to lose. This is why, for me, I think they should lose just in case the Raiders were to do something stupid. That's where I am. Man, Raiders mess around and lose that game and you win? Nah, bro, I'm losing that game. I'm losing that game because, Raiders mess around and win that game and you lose as the Giants and you get the number 1 pick. Boy, your options just became wide open, man. Yeah, Football Fanatic, we're going to have to redo that whole back 7. Rumbowski said if Crosby becomes available, Las Vegas starts taking in offers, then I'm pretty sure Howard Roseman will be in the mix. Yeah, and I do think the Cowboys are going to make a strong swing. Don't mean they're going to win it. But I do think that Max Crosby is trying to get out of Las Vegas. I really do think he's trying to get out of Las Vegas. There's no doubt in my mind that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, he's trying to get out of he's trying to get out of Las Vegas. There's no doubt in my mind. I do think the Cowboys can beat the Eagles with some of this stuff because the Eagles still got a pretty big payroll. And as much as they're wheeling and dealing and pushing money down into the void too. They're running out of room too. They got some things to deal with some of their own players on their team. They gotta worry about signing some of their own players on their team. So, yeah, I think this situation. I don't think the Giants gonna try to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. I mean, it's just one of those type of games because Dak is not gonna play the whole game. Dak Prescott is definitely not gonna play the whole game. It's just not gonna happen. Kevin said, "Hate me, we ain't gonna hate you," but I think Max Crosby. But I don't think Max Crosby is a good fit. Oh, I ain't mad at you. Nah, I'm not mad at you. Definitely not mad at you for that. Yamo said he having Burger King for dinner. Man, I'm about to try to figure out what I'm having for dinner right now. All right, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. My man Chanel, what is going on? Chanel, good to see you. I tell you this, though. This Green Bay, Minnesota game just became so interesting. Boy, I'm so ready for this game. I'm ready for this game because I want them to lose, not because of Trevon Diggs and Michael Parsons, but because I want that Cowboys pick to get into that top 20. I also want to see this game with them and the Chicago Bears. And I want to see them lose again because I want that pick to be in the top 20. But I tell you this, all eyes for me are going to be on Trevon Diggs. When you say you are the best, show me. Show me. Bro, when you tell me you the best, show me. I got to see it. I got to see it now. You said you feel like you the best out there? Boy, I got to see it. Got to see it. All right. So we didn't get to Schotty. I'm sure y'all are disappointed we didn't get a chance to listen to another Brian Schottenheimer press conference. I'm pretty sure y'all pretty sad about that. All right, guys, if I feel up to it, you never know how I feel tonight. If I feel up to it, we might have Cowboys After Dark. We've already done 2 Cowboys in the Dark in a row here coming into the new year. So you never know, I might do another one tonight. So hit that notification bell. I appreciate you. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.